And welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Boys in the Big Apple podcast here on a Monday, February 26th, the last Monday of February, as we're closely approaching March. This week is the NFL Combine and a lot of shit going on, spring training, basketball, all that good stuff, which we'll be able to talk about. The Jets made a big move today to begin their offseason officially, and I know that certain folks in the audience and certain folks in the panel are going to be happy. I do want to give a shout out to our guy Jacob in the chat, and what's up to Anthony Garcia as well. I would expect Armin to be coming in with the pom-poms and the balloons and celebrating and all that stuff. But with that said, I do want to pass it over to my panel for the first thoughts before I warm up exercise and we go into some other stuff as well. Mr. Angry John.
What up, folks? What up? Obviously, got a huge slate. Guys, if you're new here for the first time, make sure you hit the sub button. Make sure the returning folks are sharing out, because if you don't, what the hell are you doing? But nevertheless, we got a jam-packed show. We got Yankees, Mets, spring training. Obviously, both teams coming with a victory today. Believe the Yankees were televised today, as Luca told me just a couple minutes ago. I watched some of their highlights, and the Mets were not televised, but nevertheless, I still got to watch some of the video that was put out there by the media. Obviously, as Namar actually comes in and said, shout out to you, man. Knicks are ahead of the Detroit Pistons. We'll break down some of the big game that happened on Saturday. Me and Lucas' thoughts on that. We also got some Jets news to get into with a nice cut. We'll go into the mock offseason simulator, and we got prospect of the week. But, Luke, before we get into our warm-up activities, what's up, Luca? Talk to us.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Hope all is well on this Monday. Obviously, the Knicks are playing right now. They're playing the Detroit Pistons after a loss on Saturday. Hopefully, they rebound, all that good stuff. Obviously, we'll get into our mock offseason with the Jets, me and John's version at least. Obviously, they're cutting Latham Tomlinson. It was a very good move. Obviously, it saves around $8.1 million on the cap. Depends if it's a post-June 1st or pre-June 1st, likely pre-June 1st, to just get the money off. Anyways, also, we got baseball to talk about. Finally, some analysis when it comes to the game, so I'm excited for that.
And definitely, what's up to Armin in the chat, Daniel Berry Sports, Sir Brad is in the building, and Nimmer, who we shouted out. But guys, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, join up the Patreon, do all the good stuff. We got lots of content being put out this week. We do have a live stream next Sunday. We got two next Sunday, actually, as of right now. We got the Yankees game against Detroit, and we also got the Knicks game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and a lot more coming for you guys. And we also have a Giants mock offseason, not a Giants mock offseason, but a Giants live stream previewing the offseason and all this other stuff. That's going to come about on March 9th, and all that sort of good stuff again coming along. So I figure, we'll start out with baseball today because, baseball, right? So let's get this on the screen. I know we'll probably do all three sports. So, all right, here is baseball. Now, I think a player that comes to mind, I think, right? Actually, there's two players that come to mind with the Twins and the Braves. Ryan Doumit is a guess. Ryan Doumit is a guess. Luca, is your thing on is it on the toner mic or is it on something else? Maybe it's my computer and my speakers, but anyway.
You're absolutely right. Now I switch it.
Okay. So I got Ryan Doumit is one. Let me see if this guy did it, because this guy, if he did, then
I'm going to say this guy I think was supposed to be a part of that little that crew with Albies and Acuna. His name is Johan Camargo.
Okay. That's another one.
I'm trying to think of some real homer hitters here.
Yeah, true.
You also have AJ Pierzynski.
Pierzynski is one. My main guess right now is Ryan Doumit. Ryan Doumit.
I mean, that's a good guess. I'm trying to think of others.
Okay.
Trying to think. Again, Camargo is one. I'm not sure he'll be found. Andrelton Simmons.
That's not
I didn't even think of him. That's a good one too.
Let me think of. Also, try to think of pitchers.
If you guys can think of any home run hitters, I mean, the first guy I think of with the Twins, Torrey Hunter. That's a
Troy
guy there.
Molitor, maybe. What's up to Joe in the chat? Did Brian Harper? I don't think he hit that many home runs.
Brian Harper? Interesting.
The catcher.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
What about Kirby Puckett?
Kirby Puckett could be one. What is it? Over 300 home runs you have to do?
300 this time. Usually we get like the 500, but today is 300.
Okay. So can I go with Ryan Domit for Twins and A's? Well, Braves.
Go ahead.
Ryan Domit. And 0.7. So we're off to a good start. Trying
to think who else got 300 homers with the Twins. I'm trying to think. Obviously Harmon Killebrew, but I don't want to do him. He's
quite obvious.
Trying to think who else.
I
don't think Kirby Puckett did hit 300.
I'll double check.
I don't think he did. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know if he.
Yeah, 207. No.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Okay. Well, we're out of luck on Walt Weiss. That's not it. Well, I don't think he had either, but we could go for an older guess.
Okay.
Let's see if we get that. So it doesn't work for the runs category, and it certainly doesn't work for.
Armin says Don Baylor.
That's a good one. Don Baylor. Don Baylor. Yeah, that's a good one. As I said, did Molitor hit over 300?
Let me check.
Molitor.
234, not 300.
What about Kodai?
I don't think Kodai reached that far.
I think we could do. Is it run scored?
It's run scored.
Run scored. Maybe we could do Kirby Puckett for that. I'm sure he had that.
Sounds good. I like that.
Hold on one second. Oh, we could also do Michael Kodai. He did have over 100 runs scored in the season.
We could do that.
Wasn't he a Met?
Yes, he was. He was part of that World Series team.
Okay, so Jason Kubel's definitely not going to be 300 home runs.
No, he's not.
He's a schmuck. Just
you
like
said Torrey Hunter's not in that category.
This would have been also a good one by Mr. Joe here. Josh Donaldson. Yes.
I'll say this. Josh Donaldson is 21 home runs short of 300, so it wouldn't have worked.
Well, no. A's and I say A's, Braves and Twins.
No, I know. I'm saying he could also, if he had 21 more, he could have worked for 300, but he doesn't have.
You know what? I got one. Reds, Braves, Matt Kemp.
Matt Kemp, Braves, also a former Met.
Matt Kemp was definitely on that list.
Okay, Matt Kemp it is. Okay, I got to guess. This is probably going to bring some PTSD to some Yankee fans. How about Edwin Encarnacion?
For
300 home runs.
As a twin?
No, as a Red.
Oh, I forgot he was with the Reds. My mistake.
Okay, so we're going to do Edwin Encarnacion. The dude who hits
he hit garbage with the Yankees in the postseason.
Yeah, he was and it struck out every time.
All right, I'm trying to think. One scored in the Reds. I mean, Pete Rose, obvious.
Yeah. Joey Votto, obvious.
Barry Larkin, maybe?
That might be different from that. I like Barry Larkin. What about Tony Perez?
Larkin did it. Joe Morgan could be definite. Let's see.
Also, Johnny Bench.
Joe Morgan is on that list.
Or
Johnny Bench.
Also, a Yankee Paul O'Neill, possibly.
Okay. And remember, everybody forgets that he was a Red, or at least some people. Yeah, he had never had over 100 runs in a season.
We could do Tony Perez.
Okay. So are we sure on Tony Perez?
I'm pretty sure he did.
You said over 100 runs scored in a season. He is a Hall of Famer.
I'm sure he had to.
Yeah. Tony Perez. Yep. Tony Perez. Okay. So now we got 4 left. We got to figure out something in the I know Armand had a guess for Braves.
By the way, shout outs to Afram.
Mr. Afram is in the building. What's up? And also, what's up to Sunil? I know there was a guess for what do you call it? There was a guess, Eric Young Jr. for
That
the
was
Braves.
Reds. I'm sorry, Braves, Rockies, I think.
Yeah.
I remember when he was a Yankee.
For 2 minutes.
That's true. He was acquired. I think the Yankees traded him
Oh,
for.
wait, another Met.
Yeah, Eric Young Jr. was a Met.
Yeah, he was. He was another Met. That's right.
All right. So 300 home runs, Twins, and I'm just trying to think of like that 1998 lineup that the Twins had, and maybe even like the 2000s.
Oh, you're thinking of the Wells Perfect Game shit?
Yeah.
Well, no, Mauer did not have over 300. I'm trying to think.
Mauer, Molitor, Ortiz.
I mean, he did have a 300 homer career.
What about Jim Thome?
Yeah, it has to be Jim
Yeah.
Thome. We missed an obvious with that one. Jim Thome, David Ortiz are 2.
Okay.
Because again, as we said, Killebrew's more obvious.
What's up to Crackle Nuts in the chat? Jacob says Troy Tulowitzki for Colorado runs.
That
I
probably.
could see that working.
I'm trying to think of the home run here. Obviously, the obvious ones are Helton, Larry Walker.
What about
Hargrove
Carlos
would be
Gonzalez?
He could work as like a secondary option.
Did he have 300? I don't know on that.
Well, I was talking about more the runs aspect, but
What about DJ LeMahieu?
Yeah, that works too.
Let's see in the
Let's
runs
see.
category.
Does LeMahieu work?
Yep.
Oh, it does. Do we do DJ LeMahieu?
I think we work with that.
Yeah, a little bit of our Yankee bias showing. 3%. Okay. Home runs it is now, strictly. Let's see. DJ LeMahieu.
I know Armin mentioned Jeremy Burnett's a former Met.
Okay.
A lot of guesses for Charlie Blackmon, 300 career homers. Does he have 300?
What was who 300? Charlie Blackmon?
Blackmon.
I don't think so.
I mean, he's like old as fuck, but
I don't
think
think
he's a home run hitter.
No, he's more of.
He's at 215 in his career right now. So
Okay,
he's
so-
going to need a lot. This is a good one. David
maybe-
Justice.
It's not a bad one. Did Dante Bichette get 300?
Actually, Justice would not have to work.
Let me work that out, John.
Dante Bichette. I remember the Yankees drafted his son, the wrong
No,
son.
he did not get it. Let me see if this guess works.
Shout out to Pete in the chat.
I got one. Another former Yankee. Thank you, Pete. Appreciate the smacky lucky and the hitty the subby. Former Yankee, 1 year, DH, Matt Holliday.
Oh.
I actually liked Matt Holliday.
He's got to have 300.
Yeah, he had 316.
Yep. Okay. All right. And then it's just the Twins left.
Trying to think
Again,
from those
trying to think of
80s,
that fucking
like early
1998
90s teams. I'm trying to think late 80s, early 90s when they won the World Series, 87, 91. Check Ken Hrbek. Hrbek was 7 short. God damn it.
Oh.
Hrbek. There was Molitor.
So many fucking options. Morneau, Helton.
No, it's not a bad one. I believe
Alex, why did you mention Helton?
I'm reading the chat.
Did Miguel Sano get 300? I don't think he.
I love this guess.
Ruben Sierra?
I don't think he went
He
300.
Yep, he did. 306.
Okay.
I wouldn't have had a clue.
That's a good one, man.
And he had 14 games with the Twins.
Oh, okay. There we go. Armin for the win.
Ruben Sierra. 18 already
Oh,
scored.
there we go. There we go, chat. All
Good
right.
job, fellas. Also, I just want to mention that Sunil had a bright guess. I missed this too. Gary Gaetti.
Yeah. Soto is looking sharp, and we'll definitely talk about it. Okay, so we got football now. Well, obviously, I know these guys will definitely come up with their Jets.
Yeah, Jets Panthers. That's Jets South right there.
Oh God, we got to think of a rare one for that. We might.
Yeah, you gotta. let's see. Pat Elfine, Ryan Khalil,
Robbie
Sam
Anderson.
Darnold.
I'm sorry, not Robbie Anderson. Fucking Chosen Anderson.
Robbie Anderson, yes.
Frankie Louvu.
How about
Frankie Louvu.
I got one because I remember I think he might have been on my fantasy team at this point. Cardinals Panthers Zane Gonzalez, the kicker.
Yes, that's a good one.
Zane. You know, he could also work for the Browns if you want.
He can too.
But we'll put it here. Okay. I think I might have another player. Might. Okay, never mind. So,
That fantasy football really does help at times with these.
That's true. It does.
It really does.
Let's see. Pierre Desir says Armin.
That's right. He was a Brown in his first part of his career.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I feel like there's some
I
other.
forgot Keyshawn Johnson played for the.
What about
Carolina
Terrell Pryor?
That's a good
I
one.
actually like that one.
That's a good one.
All right, so we're gonna go Terrell Pryor.
The former college quarterback.
Okay. Jet 10 sacks in a season.
Oh God,
Bryce
there's
Huff.
not many.
Not
I mean,
many.
Bryce Huff, yeah, who's not going to get re-signed.
I got one for the Cardinals. How about Bertrand Berry?
For Cardinals, what?
Cardinals 10
10
sacks.
sacks.
Bertrand Berry.
I believe he was also a Bronco too, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
John got
Washington
0.5% on that. Good job.
10 sacks. That one's a little bit harder to think about, so we'll come back to it. And the chat will probably fill us in.
What about
all right.
Washington 10 sacks? What about Brian Arakpo or London Fletcher?
That could be one. That could be.
Definitely an Albert Hainsworth.
Yeah. Let me see if this player played for the Browns.
You know, Orman, that's a good one. David Clowney. Jets Panthers.
Should we do David Clowney? Okay.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. Was Ricky Seals Jones ever on Washington?
Yes,
Yes,
I
he
think
was.
he was.
Can we do him in Cleveland?
Yes, we can. He was a ghost for the Giants last year. Well, really 2 years ago.
Ricky Seals Jones, the tight end.
Yep. All right. Jets 10 sacks. Trying to see, like, there's got to be like one for the like some trash O lineman has had to play for Washington and the Panthers.
Okay, let's think.
Oh, I mean, another one could be Matt Ioannidis.
Armin also mentions Mario Addison. John, you're about to say?
I mean, we obviously couldn't. How about Sean Ellis?
Sean Ellis does work.
Sean Ellis works. Obviously,
Sean Ellis. There's John Abraham. There's Mohamed Wilkerson. There's
Calvin
Quentin
Pace.
Williams.
Calvin Pace. Remember
Calvin Pace, Bryce Huff. I know Armin just mentioned Jeff Lagaman.
Yeah, there's also Gaston.
90s player. We could do that with Armin. He played in the 90s, Lagaman.
That's true.
Should we do
Jeff Lagaman. Why did I say Brian Lagaman? Jeff
Lagaman. Okay. All right, we got 3 more. There's again some garbage players had to play for the Pan. Actually, I do have a player. This guy used to kick for the Giants, but nobody remembers that.
Josh
This
Brown?
guy, Joey Sly.
Oh.
Joey Sly. Okay, so we got the Browns, and there's got to be some garbage backup quarterback, and then there's 10 sacks for Washington.
No Cody Kessler played for them, right?
Could have.
I got it.
Drew Stanton.
Brian Hoyer. Oh, okay.
Well, which
Either
one's
work
more
or
rare?
work, honestly.
Drew Stanton. We'll go with Stanton. I feel like Brian Hoyer has got a little bit of a name just because he's a beast.
How does that not work?
What?
Hold
They
on.
fucked us
We're
again.
looking this up. Drew Stanton.
I
could've
swear he
sworn
played with
for
both.
Cleveland.
Drew Stanton stats. We're looking it up.
He played 2018, 2019 with them.
No, it does not say he did. Ooh.
Yes,
Maybe he was
it says he did, but he never probably played a game.
Yeah, he never played a game.
That's horseshit.
Ah.
Horseshit.
We should have
This
gone
also
with
would've been a
Brian
good
Hoyer,
one.
the legend.
Anyway, was it a wash, Jason Taylor?
Jason Taylor was cooked. He did not have 10 sacks.
Uh-huh. Okay, so we haven't missed one in a while. Washington 10 sacks.
Or you could go back to John and do Brian Hoyer.
We could do
We
that.
could do that. You know what? Let's make up our mistake. Brian Hoyer. 112 rarity score because we missed one. But there's your there. All right. And then we'll do
NBA. All right.
I'm just gonna fill my water real quickly. So if you guys have guesses, throw them in.
Throw them in the chat, guys. Throw them in the chat. All right. So
Lakers OKC.
we got Thunder. All right. Obviously, well, Steven Adams, I know off the bat plays for the Thunder and Grizzlies.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
You know what? I'll go Thunder All-Star. I just want to make sure he was an All-Star. I believe he was. Thunder, which also includes the Supersonics. Rashard Lewis.
Rashard Lewis. Yeah, we can do that. Are you controlling it or is he?
Unfortunately, he is. So we're just throwing shit out there right now.
Okay, Rashard Lewis. I think a good one for the Thunder Grizzlies. Hashim Thabit.
Yep, the draft bust.
One of the biggest draft busts in NBA history. Hashim Thabit. God, that was a mistake. That was such a big mistake.
I want to see if this guy also played for the two teams.
So we got Lewis Thabit. We got those two players down.
Armin has a good guess. He says Dallas, Lakers, Derek Fisher. That also works for the Thunder and the Lakers.
Yeah, we can do that. I'm thinking. I mean, Rockets, Lakers. There's so many options. Ariz is a guy. Schroeder. What about we could do Meta World Peace?
Ron Artest. That's right. He had a season or a few in. Why did I say Detroit?
Houston.
I was about to say Houston. Yes.
We could do. Want to do him?
Yeah, we could do Ron Artest.
Meta World Peace.
Stupid camera unplugged. Give me a second.
No, you're good. We got a few guesses already.
I know. What's his face? Sunil's team is in here.
Yes,
That's right.
the Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
Mavericks.
Okay, Alex, press the button. No, I'll do it.
Yo, zap yourself.
Yes.
John, did you know that the Cowboys were a NBA team?
Apparently, I do now.
Stupid fucking thing.
Tell us when you're ready, Alex, so we can tell you our guesses.
This thing is being dumb, but I'll take your guesses as I'm fixing.
So we have for Thunder Grizzlies, Hashim Thabit, NBA legend bust.
All right, Thunder Grizzlies.
Hashim Thabit.
All right, how do you spell that? Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thunder All Star. Who'd you say, Luca? You said Rashard Lewis.
Rashard Lewis.
Okay.
Rockets Lakers. I had Meta World Peace.
Or if they, I don't think it's going to come up.
Maybe it's Ron Artest. I don't know how. However the hell he spells his name.
It's Meta World Peace.
Meta World Peace. What a beast. We also got All Stars for the Rockets too. I'm trying to think.
Now, John, do we go? Armin's suggestion was really good. Lakers, Mavericks, or we go Lakers, Thunder, Derek Fisher.
What is Sunil saying? Because
we could do. Sunil said OJ Mayo for Dallas, Memphis. That's actually a good one.
That's another bust.
Mm-hmm. He was good at one point.
Dallas,
Memphis. I also like Sunil's guess for a Dallas All Star. We could do Jason Terry.
That's a good. Was he an All Star?
Wait.
I don't think he was an All Star.
Hold up. Was he an All? I don't remember.
You guys debate over this. I'm gonna fix my fucking camera. It's being.
I don't think Terry was an All Star.
I'm thinking Rockets All Star. Can we do Steve Francis?
Steve Francis is one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of others.
I know there's Yao Ming. I know
Yao Ming, obviously.
Was Clyde and Hakeem back in the day. There's obviously. You could also do Dwight Howard.
What was your first guess? You said it was Steve Francis. I think I'm down to go with that, honestly.
Damn it, I don't remember the rest of the columns now because he took it off.
So now we're just stuck, the two of us. Yeah, Terry's not an all-star. Obviously, Sean Marion's. I don't think he was with the Mavericks though. That's the unfortunate part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't. I think you have to.
We're back. So
Okay,
what's up?
Are we?
Our Rockets All Star. I want to go with Steve Francis.
Rockets All Star Steve Francis.
Mm-hmm.
Former Nick.
That's right. He was on the team with Starberry?
Yes.
Hey. What else we got?
Trying to think.
Brad. I don't think Robert Ari was a all-star.
So are we doing Derek Fisher for
We could do Mavs Lakers.
Mavs Lakers? Okay. All right. I'm thinking of guys. We got Westbrook played for both. Gary Payton did because he played on the Sonics. Trying to think who else.
Let me see if I think I know a player who played for both. And this obviously goes back to the franchise of the whatchamacallits. Why am I blanking now? The Supersonics.
I was thinking another guy is Deion Waiters.
Okay, that's a good one. Another guy, his name is Vladimir Radmanovich.
All right, Beast.
Which team?
Lakers Thunder.
All right, we also got the Rockets Grizzlies. Share out those guesses, guys. We'll take some more if you have them. Trying to think. Rockets Grizzlies. Omer Caspi is a guy. Caspi's a guy. Chandler Parsons is a guy.
I don't think Kwame Brown was a Rocket. This is going to be a complete rare run. It's going to blow the casual fan's mind, but it's 100% true. Kyle Lowry.
True. I was thinking of Dylan Brooks.
For what? Grizzlies and
Rockets.
Trying to think who else we could do. Do we want to do Chandler Parsons, or we feel like he's too easy? Obvious.
I think we'll go with Kyle Lowry because the common fan, let's be honest, doesn't know that.
That's true.
All right, 10%.
Matt, we still got the Mavs. So Sunil, you could help us out here because you're.
I think he said Derek Harper. That's that unfortunately is not the case because he's not an all-star. Same thing with Tyson Chandler. He was not an all-star.
We could do.
Mavericks.
I mean, Steve Nash was a Maverick and a Laker.
That's true. Nash.
So was I believe Jose Calderon, former Knicks.
What about Wesley Matthews?
I think he was.
I'm gonna double check. I'm pretty sure he was a Laker. Wesley Matthews.
I'm pretty sure you're correct on that.
Cracklenut says Josh Howard for All-Star Mavs.
Juwan Howard, you mean?
Or
Josh?
Well, he said Josh Howard.
Okay, so Wesley Matthews could be good for the Lakers. Mavs.
I mean, the Mavs also. I'm thinking of Nash, Nowitzki.
Howard does work, by the way.
We could do Josh Howard. I do like that. That's a good one from Mr. Cracklenuts. Give him his credit, Josh Howard. I'm down with that.
Yeah. I got a credit to them.
Stop with the credit to them.
Enough of your nonsense.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, as I said, Alex, Lakers, Mavs, Wesley Matthews works.
And 35 birdie score.
There we go.
Not bad.
Not terrible. Let's fix this up here.
All right.
So I guess we'll bust into baseball first. What should we get into first? Should we go into Luca? Where do you want to go? Yankee? Well, baseball, obviously, yes. Should we talk about the Senga thing? Should we talk a little bit about this team right here? What do you think?
We could go over a little bit of our team for a little bit. Obviously, what we've seen over the first few games. Then we'll get into the Senga because I know that was Senga's not the recent news, but you know what? How about this? I know John was talking about the pitching to me behind closed doors beforehand. Let's go into that, and then we'll talk about the Yankees because how's the pitching done, John, in terms of who's trying out for spots?
Well, unfortunately, as Alex mentioned, I believe it was mentioned during I forget if it was last night's stream or the next stream.
Thursday, and it was also yesterday.
Well, Kodai Senga's unfortunately hurt. I don't think it's that. I think it's a big injury in terms of compared to how this team is with their pitching, because I don't think they have enough frontline guys available, and I don't think they have enough kids in the system that'll be ready right away. But the good news is it's looking like he's only going to be out a month at most. So he's going to miss April essentially. He might even throw in late April as like to start games. And I feel like, you guys don't realize how good he was because you don't get to watch them. This guy was one of the best pitchers in baseball last year, especially down
the stretch.
I think the Ghost 4 pitch was the most unhittable pitch in terms of whiff rate and batting average. So that's how special this guy is. But nevertheless, first 3 games for the Mets already in the books, right? And it opened my eyes a little. That 5th spot now becomes more and more important. And I got to shout out this guy today, Max Kranick, right? Went up against Nationals starters. Now, I know the Nationals aren't the best of teams, but they did have their everyday starters. And Kranick, I believe, actually was originally he came over from Pittsburgh with the Pirates. He had Tommy John. At one point, this guy had a really good arm talent. So you got to see a little bit of that today for anyone that was at the game, because unfortunately, no televised for spring training, but he really looked impressive today. I think he looked the best out of the 3 starters because I did watch Buto and Miguel over the weekend because they also had some pitching. Miguel looked okay. I liked Jose Buto yesterday. I thought he looked very sharp, but I think Kranick looked the best so far. Now, I don't think this necessarily means that he automatically wins the 5th role. I think it's going to personally, I think they're going to roll with Miguel, although I like to see Buto get a better look. But I think this is a lot more open now that we've seen it. And I think, I honestly think they're banking on Severino and Minaya becoming much better than expected than most people. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'll ask,
Mm-hmm.
what's your confidence level in the bullpen, just in case, you're talking about the 5th spot or whatever, and maybe Tyler McGill factoring in. If during the season, these guys start to blow up a little bit, and you need, number one, you need your offense to do good, and number 2, well, actually, I mean I do want to bring that up a little bit. But are you confident in the bullpen to kind of be the lifeboat for the starting rotation?
Wait, say that again.
Are you confident? Say McGill is part of the rotation, or it's whether it's the 4th or 5th spot at this point. Are you confident in the bullpen to be a lifeboat?
I'm more confident than they were last year because they have more arm talent. You talk about some of the guys that they brought in. Fujinami, really a solid guy with a solid arm. And I think everyone forgets that David Stearns is, I know the little janky boys over here chanting, it's okay. They can't bring any intelligence to baseball anyway, so we're not even going to pay attention to them. But nevertheless, David Stearns has gotten some really good relievers in the past, Milwaukee. Whether he got solid years from Jeremy Jeffress, what's his face, Corey Knebel, Devin Williams turned into all-star. Remember Josh Hader, all these guys. So you have a lot of arm talent there. I have more talent, faith with guys with talent and have proven to be good in the past, whether it's Shintaro Fujinami, who did much better in Baltimore than they did in Oakland, because let's face it, Oakland, they don't really have anything there, so it's really hard to develop guys there. You look at him, you look at Jorge Lopez, a guy I'm hoping to bounce back for. You look at another guy, Jake Diekman, once he got to Tampa last year, he really figured things out after coming over from a crummy White Sox team. He's very good at limiting hard contact, which is something we all know the Mets did not do good at all in that bullpen last year, because let's face it, Jeff Brigham had like the 5th most appearances or 5th most innings pitched last year in this bullpen. That's how bad Billy Upler built it last year.
And Dominic Leone, as Sunil does mention.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know how bad he was. But I got a lot more faith in him this year. Drew Smith, he'll be unfortunately probably returning, who I'm not a big fan of at all. But I feel like there's a lot more talent and a lot more arm, slots in this pen than I did last year. You guys agree, disagree?
I think there's more talent, Obviously, you're hoping on guys for bounce back years. You said that David Stearns, basically is kind of a pitching guru in terms of getting really good years out of certain players. So you hope that's the case, and I think there is a bit more talent. You obviously had a Jorge Lopez and some of the guys, and you hope that he brings the analytics and the numbers that these guys can really succeed at. So I think there is a bit more confidence generally with Met fans in the bullpen.
I agree. Go ahead.
I mean, there's definitely more talent than last year. I mean, well, actually, before I even touch on what I was going to touch on, what's your thoughts on Grant Hardwick? Because I know last year he got smacked around after being like good the first few games.
Yeah, I'm not really high on him, as many people think. I don't think. I think he's a guy that starts in AAA. I mean, again, you need as many depth arms as you can coming out of the pen, and that's going to be guys like Hartwig, probably a Josh Walker, probably a Sean Reed Foley who's coming back from injury. I believe Reed Foley actually pitched pretty good today in his inning of work. So again, I'm not really high on some of those guys, but if they start in AAA, I'm fine with that. Let them start there.
I kind of forgot that Sean Manaea was a Met. I'm gonna be honest.
I honestly, in my honest opinion, I think one of the two can at least. It's basically doubling down on someone being good. I don't know which one it is going to be. I mean, according to reports, Severino looks really sharp so far, which I hope. I hope that's the case because you guys knew how good he was before he was hurt last year. I mean, it could have been a combination of injury and mental.
Mhm.
I mean, you guys know more than that on me, but so far in spring, he looks really sharp. In the I know it's just batting practice. He hasn't been out there for a spring game yet, but that's the hope that one of these guys can, regain form for that, and then the other two guys can be stable enough.
Now let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts? We talked about this in the offseason. Now, if you want to consider it to be Bader, fine. Protection for Pete Alonso.
Who do I think Bader should be, or
No, I mean just like general, because I know we were talking about JD Martinez, and he hasn't really signed with anyone yet.
they're not going to sign a DH at this point, and let's face it, they're not going to go get that extra bat, and I would like them to, and I think they're just really trying to figure out this year who's going to be on this roster because they got a bunch of kids coming up, as me and Luca were talking behind closed doors, and I honestly think that you have obviously Nimmo, Lindor, and McNeil that could all hit ahead of Pete, and maybe even Marte, depending on who you flop with McNeil. But I think the guy that's actually should be hitting behind Pete at this point, I think it should be Francisco Alvarez given that chance. I think he's got the best potential to be a protection for Pete. But let's face it, this kid hit 25 homers. He hit an opposite field homer on Saturday in his first game of the season for spring training. So I think he should be given the chance to do that if you're not going to go with an outside option. I don't think Bader's going to be healthy enough. I don't trust Marte's health enough because those two guys are really a wild card when it comes to that.
Yeah. Sunil fucking around with John about Herman. Jacob has a good question. He goes, "Is Sevy the opening day starter?" I don't think so.
I think it's going to be Quintana. I think he's still a really good middle of the rotation guy, in my opinion. I think you can on a really good team, he's a 3 or 4 starter.
Who?
Quintana.
Yeah, I mean, no, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But like if I was the manager, I'd probably put Manaea or Sevy just because I don't know what it is. I think I've forgotten how good Quintana used to be, but I just feel like there's more potential.
I know there's more potential. The thing is, I don't want it going to these two heads because you're banking on one of them being a frontline guy.
That's true.
And you don't want to like put too much pressure on them. Let them play with house money and see who's better. Because Manaea, San Francisco last year, remember, Manaea was a starter bullpen kind of hybrid. He had a lot of talent, and it's said that he's throwing a lot harder now. Severino has been fastballs around 96, even though he can dial it up. So we'll see what happens in terms of how they look in spring. Neither guy has pitched an inning of spring training, so we'll see how that plays out once they actually get some action in there.
Well, I don't think Herman actually signed with the team.
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent, but maybe he'll sign with some bum team.
I'll say this: Herman should not get a chance to play. He shouldn't.
No, I agree with you. Just
I
like,
understand that
if
mentality.
we're gonna, I'm not gonna go into it because a lot of people feel a certain way. But if Trevor Bauer's not getting a job, Herman should not get a job.
Sorry. I would sign. By the way, I'd sign Trevor Bauer in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like instantly take the flyer on him. If he sucks, so be it.
Yeah, just low risk, high reward.
Exactly.
Have like incentive based or something like that.
Yeah, have it incentive based because Trevor Bauer is still probably an elite arm out there, and I don't understand why certain guys. I don't want to get into it too much. I don't understand why certain guys keep getting second and third chances, and they just completely blackball Trevor Bauer just because they hate him.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Well, I mean, the point I was going to make earlier about the bullpen is it kind of has to be coaching based because there's not a lot of you're taking a lot of low risk, high reward guys, kind of like the Yankees are. So I think like they have a similar approach, but I think the Mets. Yeah, I think the approaches are the same, but the products not that they have to be different, but it's going to be viewed differently. Because
well, that's right. Again, here's what I'll say. Remember, Stearns was there from 2015 on with the Brewers. Am I not?
Yes.
This guy had a lot of bullpen and pitchers in general as guys that were kind of came out of nowhere and overperformed than what they were. And he gets the best out of players. He has a process that works, and I think that I think it can really work.
Yeah. Crackle says, I hate Johnny. He gets second and third chances on here.
Crackle, I could just mute you if I wanted to. You're lucky.
Mute him in his head or something like that. So I guess, we could probably tie this into the Yankees a little bit because he has flashed so far, Mr. Juan Soto, in spring training. I saw you put in the doc that Juan Soto, Mets might be interested. That's a Nightingale report. Talk about it a little.
Can I ask before all the Yankee criers it's a serious question. I want you to give me a percentage of realistically give me a percentage of if you see Soto signing with you guys long term.
Can I ask why we're even discussing this? We're not even.
No, I mean because there's a report by Nightingale.
No. But I say that I'm not disagreeing with you guys. There's also a lot of Met fans who are, going off the rails talking about how Soto is going to be a Met next season. That's just my general.
Look, I'm being honest. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if he hits the market and I'm Steve Cohen, he's the first guy I'm going after.
Oh, no, I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that for Mets fans to be crowning Soto in a uniform.
I'll say that's ridiculous. But to not be discussing it, I mean, it is a possibility.
I wouldn't go that far. I don't know if he's being sarcastic or not.
Sunil, I am going to disagree with you. I'm not saying the Yankees aren't going to give him a long term, but you have to think they already have 3 guys making $300+ million. Soto,
they have to offload somebody.
How much is Soto going to?
If they load off Stanton somewhere, then I would say you up that chance.
They should have. They should have gotten rid of them while they could, but right now the guy's got no value. He has 0. He hasn't played.
He looks like me right now. So
that's right. Alex and Giancarlo Stanton have the same amount of value.
Yeah,
they should have.
I mean, do you see him hopefully, again, I'm not making fun of him to make fun of. I hope he gets better. I hope he proves me wrong. But he's super skinny.
And it's funny. I was listening to Michael Kay, and they said that they don't need Stanton to be good on this team. That is 100% wrong.
I don't agree with that.
I see the angle he's coming from, but it's still wrong because you could I want to get into a conversation about Austin Wells in the same angle of you don't need him to be this great defender, but Stanton you do because you say you do need him to be good at least because he'll be in the first 6-year lineup. 2, the contract. What are we going to sit there and have a bum for $300 million? I mean,
yeah, we're essentially getting no return on our investment.
Yeah. No, I agree, Armin. It's just something that Nightingale brought up, and
It's not that. Look, again, I'm not gonna lie to you and say if Juan Soto wanted to come to the Mets, he can come as he pleases. That dude is I've said it here, and anyone can disagree because I watch a lot of baseball. Obviously one of my favorite sports, and I don't just watch Mets Yankees. I watch all over. The only two outfielders that are better than him, Ronald Acuna and Julio Rodriguez. Can you find anyone else better?
Not really.
I take Soto over Judge. I think Soto's your best player, positional player.
I would take Soto over Judge because, like, I feel I'm not gonna undermine the value of Judge, but like, I think Soto makes more of an impact on this team presently.
Mm-hmm.
Let me also say there's a chance that Soto is going to get paid more than Judge in free agency, and I'm going to be honest, I would not care if the Yankees paid Soto more than Judge. I would not care.
I honestly see Soto possibly getting at least $500 million.
I think you could see that, yeah.
In terms of how young he is, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right, because I do have like a legitimate question. So Giancarlo Stanton's 245 pounds. Sunil, I'm taking the under in his batting average. So he asked about that.
That's another thing when you bring back Stanton. This guy lost a lot of weight. I don't know how much that's going to affect him.
Yeah, you got to see a guy. This is the same thing that happens in basketball and other sports.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see the guy play in the weight first. You can't say, "Oh, well, he's lighter. This, and this." You got to see him play in the weight. He could gain weight because I remember the same thing happening with like R.J. Barrett last year. This is completely unrelated. I know it's basketball, but it's just to bring up the point that essentially you have to see a player gain. You have to see a player play in that weight, get used to that weight. What if Stan's not comfortable losing weight? He has to put on more muscle mass, and he ends up getting hurt.
No, that's a very good point. I mean, this guy has the oblique of a 90-year-old. I don't mean to.
His legs are his legs are shot. His legs are shot.
So, Stan, you don't need to you don't need to have him hit 280 and 50 home runs plus. If he gives us, I'll take the 30 plus home runs. I'll take 25 plus, maybe even 20 plus because of where he is.
As long as he's available and hitting those numbers, that's fine.
Right.
But to say he doesn't have to be good is kind of like if Michael K said if he doesn't have to be elite, that's one thing. If he doesn't have to be good, I don't know about that.
I mean, yeah. Especially again, $300 million. And then 130 games. I will see to believe. That's just it. He was faster out of the box on a fly out to left field. I think he's talking about Stanton. I mean, let me see in the regular season. Just to see. And I haven't watched much baseball.
Anthony Garcia also brings up a good point. Just because he lost weight doesn't mean he can hit a slider.
No, he's 100% right. He's on that.
Yeah, he's always struggling with the slider. He's always going like this. He's always dropping his shoulder. So,
but again, I don't mean to interrupt, but going back to Soto, hell yeah, if he's the first guy on the market, every freaking team should be after him. He's not just a all-star player. He's a franchise player.
He's a superstar.
He's a super superstar. Yeah, he is.
And
he puts butts in seats. Michael K is just trying to justify the Stanton contract, typical ass kisser for Cashman.
Yeah, he's actually talking about it on the air today because I was listening to the game. He it wasn't that piece that I heard from K, but he's like, "Oh, I'm a glass half full guy," and he was talking about positive on Stanton. I'm like, you know what? This is where I hit the mute button because I'm not going to sit here and listen to that because he's Giancarlo Stanton's very proven to me right now. He has to prove that he can stay healthy and produce. But
right.
Jets mess says, remember all the fools saying Becton looked great because he lost weight. Not. Yeah, you got to play in that weight.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. This is an interesting one that has nothing to do with this subject. Lakin Tomlinson tweets, Mondays are just another rep of the work week.
Well,
when did he tweet that?
About an hour ago.
Well, you're no longer employed by the Jets, so thank God for that.
Oh, but anyway, if I'm the Mets and I'm looking at the contract situation, Bader's a free agent, but you have Nimmo out there who can slide back to center because he could realistically play any of those positions.
Right.
And I believe Marte is still under contract. Let me take a look of his contract because I believe he signed a 4-year deal he signed a 4-year deal. And this is going to be year 3, so he'd be there for another year. But you could play Marte and you could put Soto in another corner outfield spot.
Don't rule out the Dodgers were sort of given the Otani deferrals.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
no, that's true. That's true. They'll be in the market for him.
They'll try to be the Golden State Warriors. That's what I said.
Jesus Christ, that would be hell.
Why did John? I'll let you answer this question.
And it's funny because we kind of touched upon it a little bit yesterday, but we talked a lot more last week. I think Scott Boras is hurting his guys. I really, really do. Like, I want someone, if they could. I don't think there's any Cubs fans here. Oops, sorry, my camera. There we go. But I don't think we looked any of this up. Does anyone know what Cody Bellinger was asking before? Like, once free agency.
He was asking for like one of them mega deals. No.
Yeah, like, does anyone know the exact number or like have
was
Eddie
it 250, like 13 years or something?
Yeah, that man got 3 years, $80 million. So you're telling me, let's say Alex is right, north of 250. Let's say he asked roughly, just for number rounding purposes, let's say he asked for 280 million.
Yeah,
I mean, Scott Boras in the span of 4 months lost just one of his guys $200 million.
Ridiculous.
If it's 250, like Krakenlet says, 170. So anywhere from like the 170, 200, 200, maybe 220. That's how much he lost one of his clients' money, because teams don't want to play for upper 30s guys, or guys with arm issues, kind of like a Blake Snell. He's had some arm issues. Has Montgomery been hurt in the past? Did he have a major surgery or no?
Yes. I don't think so. Wait.
He might have.
2017.
I think he did. I know he's bounced back fine from that.
It was one of those like last years of the 2000 teens. I remember he had Tommy John surgery.
Correct. No, I vividly remember that too. But these guys just aren't getting what they think they're worth, because a lot of teams are run analytically, and I think they're not going to go past a certain point. And you look at the Cubs, this is a win deal for them. They don't lose out on a big star, and plus you get him for 3 years, $80 million. Yeah, how cheap that? I mean, I don't want to say that's cheap. I mean, any of us would take 80 any day, but 3 years, $80 million compared to what he was asking for, that's a huge win for that organization.
I mean, also to add, John, like, I know that somebody threw in the chat yesterday. You just because I sent you the tweet of the guy with the Boras stuff. And then somebody somebody who follows me saw that tweet and commented, blame the billionaire owners. The players just want to get paid. No. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you could blame the billionaire owners, but let's be completely honest. The three of us on this panel, we may have wanted Jordan Montgomery, but are you locking him up for this amount of years? No, you're not, because he's not that good.
You're not giving him a 6-7 year contract because you don't want to tell him the money. I'm fine with giving him like a 4 year contract. I'm fine with that. But to blame it on the rich owners is laughable. Do you see how some of these guys are getting paid? I mean, look at the Otani contract. Look at the Yamamoto contract. Look at the contracts with Mike Trout, with Giancarlo Stanton, with Aaron Judge, with Francisco Lindor. How many guys are getting paid that are most of the time have pandered out and worked quite well because of the age they're signed at? It's I don't want to gloss over Kraft on this point, but he says those guys are good. Belly, he had 2 very bad seasons. Plus, Belly is not so. No. I understand that. But it's to the point. Here's my issue, Crackle Nuts. I'm not saying Bellinger deserves $300 million plus. I know he was an MVP at one point. I know he had his struggles, bounced back quite nicely with the Cubs last year. But Cody Bellinger belongs on an MLB team.
Of course.
Before spring training starts. That's the issue. He shouldn't be signed right before spring training. Like, the fact that these guys are still on the market, that's a problem for them. That's a huge problem for them. And you look at next year's class, Juan Soto. Now, he might be a little different because I'm sure there's not going to be an issue with his contract. The first guy I think of for next year's class is Pete Alonso. Pete is a Scott Boras guy. He's going to be looking for his money, but it makes you wonder, is Pete Alonso and the rest of these guys going to be looking at what's happening now and saying, okay, Scott, you haven't been getting your job done with other guys. What makes you think you're going to get your job and my money now?
No, absolutely. I mean, I absolutely agree there. I think again with the billionaire owners, I think the one thing you could say is, and this is, I know people are gonna hate it. I'm gonna blame the players. They said, hey, the billionaire owners and all that stuff. Like that's why Washington looks like Washington. That's why the A's look like the A's. Kansas City looks like Kansas City. Okay, make your case. But there could have been a salary cap in '94.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody realizes that. Everyone's these short-minded folks. They don't look at history. They just look, the billionaire, because that's the newest trend, the billionaire owners and all this other nonsense. And again, John Fisher is an a-hole. I'm not saying that like he's this guy or this great guy or whatever. But what I'm saying is, look at history. This is how the MLB, and I hate to say it because it's the first sport I got into. They are destroying themselves this way. And compact, again, and you'll see some guys like, I remember it was like 2 years ago, Darrell Williams, who was an offensive tackle for the Panthers and the Bills. Like he was good, but he didn't get signed. You don't really, like you could talk about holdouts and stuff, but that's completely different from now. Like they're not even getting signed. So, Fisher is the worst. The owners are using the RSN TV issue, the revenue sharing.
Right. And I'll say this before we finish up with the Mets. I'll say this for people, it's not even that they don't want to spend. Armin, who was on our call-in show last night, said they have the money. They just pocket it. I believe Armin and Afram actually were talking about it. But they pocket a lot of that money. I think people don't realize. And it's not that it's impossible for, like, perfect example, you mentioned the Royals. They just gave Bobby Witt Jr. a huge extension. Now, he's a different player. He's a lot younger. He's going to be, I mean, he already is a stud. But, again, it's not that they can't sign guys. I mean, some of these owners simply just don't want to. I mean, look at this. I mean, I know this is a little bit of a different scenario now, but Baltimore used to be really cheap.
They were terrible.
And it was just announced. I know we were talking about it yesterday, but that ownership group, there's reports saying that their deal might be done before the season even starts. So that might be huge for Baltimore.
No, I agree.
That might be
I
huge.
agree. The owners keep their books closed. And the problem is, what's up to Katie in the chat, is that everybody thinks, no, the commissioner is the head boss. He employs the owners. Not that he employs, but they work under him. No. It's the other way around. They are like, there might be a committee that elects the owner, but Manfred, and I'm not obviously glossing over the fact that he's been, an awful, commissioner, because obviously of all the scandals and whatnot and all this other nonsense. But, again, to be fair, it's just a mess of a situation. It really is.
I agree.
Oakland pockets $100 million plus he gets from the Mets, Yankees, and Dodgers.
No, you're 100 crackle nuts. I 100% agree. But finishing up with the Mets, I did want to point out a few spring things based on my noticings and what I've read from the media. Today was a huge day. I think the outfield battle got a lot more interesting. Tyrone Taylor was phenomenal when he played over the weekend, as Luca has decided to bring food to the party. But nevertheless, Trace Thompson, a guy who I really was talking about, I believe, a week or two ago, he had a grand slam. He drove in 5 runs today. He could be a guy that challenges for that 26th spot, battles a guy like DJ Stewart. Thompson's really been a journeyman. For anyone who doesn't know, he's actually Klay Thompson's brother. He had like 13 homers, and he was like in a bench kind of hybrid role for the Dodgers 2 seasons ago. So this guy can play. And if he doesn't make the roster, he definitely should be one of the first guys called up in AAA. Obviously, I think Tyrone Taylor is going to get that 4th outfield spot, and possibly DJ Stewart. Although My view on him is he's more of a DH. I don't think he has the range to play outfield, in my opinion.
No,
But a guy like Trace Thompson really does come in handy, especially if you got, some of these kids that you want to develop, like a Drew Gilbert. And some of these kids have been really impressive. Jet Williams, first guy I want to mention, today ran a, or it was yesterday, excuse me. You saw some of the speed he brought, went first to home and scored pretty easily. I think this guy has 40 stolen base plus potential, along with the other guy I want to mention, Acuna, who it was weird. It was the weirdest thing I saw from Mets Twitter and some of the fans. Some of this guy, like they were killing this guy after like one game. And I said, whoa, this guy's like a top prospect across the majors. I mean, has pretty well graded out, excellent speed, can hit, and got 2 base hits today. Made a few nice routine plays in the field. He played at second today as they had Lindor at short. That might be a transition for him. But again, really some of these kids have been very impressive so far. And the good thing is the Mets did not face like chopped liver. I know it's the Nationals, but they faced an elite arm today in Josiah Gray. So for anyone that doesn't know, he's a up-and-coming starter for the Nationals, who I think is going to have a very good year. But they did face solid MLB players today, and they performed well. So if you do that catches your eye with something.
Moving into the Yankees a little bit. I mean, we already see the Juan Soto impact.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really much to discuss there unless you want to just clobber all over it. Again, I'm not trying to gloss over it and say no, this isn't important, but how much can you talk about a player that I've been really championing for a few months now? Let's see what else. You've seen the rumors that the Giants are actively looking to move up. It's not really news, but it's the first time we're hearing more often in the media. I mean, it's gonna be like smoke week. I did see that though. Like I trust me, my notifications are not that my notifications are on, but I see via the Twitter sphere and all this other good stuff. Hey, this is what this team's gonna do, and again, the rumors are the rumors. But I do want to talk about something that I had a video on, and I still think you guys should check it out. And if you haven't checked it out, check it out, and also share it out too. I want to talk about Austin Wells in the catcher position. Austin Wells last year came up, hit, I think it was 4 home runs for the Yankees. You have him, you have Rordvet, you have this like open catcher competition.
Since Trevino's hurt.
And also someone who's not making it easy is Yorbit Vivas, who, believe it or not, and I thought, okay, he's just some guy. He actually was playing a lot of games with Oklahoma City last year for the Dodgers, so he might compete for that backup spot.
He was in a trade, actually. One of the trades.
He might have been in the Sweeney trade, but I could be wrong. There's 2 trades. It could be the Caleb Ferguson, which probably not, or the other one. But let's see. Well, yeah, we did see that.
We'll get into that in a little bit, Jeff.
But as far as Austin Wells goes, here's how I see it, and I never really got Luca or John's opinion. I feel like Austin Wells should win the spot out of the gate. Trevino's got this year in 25 as a Yankees catcher, but here's what Austin Wells struggles with. He struggles with velocity throwing to second base. His arm is very good. But he's gotten some endorsement from the rotation, guys like Rodon, Michael King, who's over in San Diego. He's got real endorsements saying, hey, this guy's a good framer. He calls a good game.
Alex, real quick, you made a quick mistake. Vivas is not a catcher. He's an infielder.
Okay, so my bad on that one. But Luis Torrens is trying to make a break for that spot. Anyway, on that note with Wells is his hitting, in my opinion, you put him in a short porch, Yankee Stadium as a left-handed hitter. I think he could be better than Rordvet. He could definitely be better than Trevino. Hit like 20, 25 home runs a year as a catcher. And the Yankees haven't really had like a good dominant, not a dominant hitter, but like a power hitter since what, Brian McCann?
When it comes to the catching position?
Yeah.
I mean, Gary Sanchez at one point before he started
Gary Sanchez, yeah. But I'm also talking from the lefty side. And if his defense is if the only wrong with his defense is, what do you call it? The arm. I think you could work on that. He's been working with a pitching machine and throwing a machine the entire offseason per Dane. I was actually having a conversation with him. Now, I actually want to know, I don't know if anyone's got the stats up, what was the stolen base percentage up from the year prior, like 22 to 23? That's what I want to know personally, because obviously you got the bigger bags. That's one. Two is, that it's really going to depend on, how much that is. If it's a small increase, then you don't have to worry about the arm as much. If it's a big increase, then you probably will have to worry about the arm. But I said this regarding the Stanton stuff, and I think it's going to play here a little bit more easier. I think it's going to be more inputable, for lack of better words. Austin Wells is not going to be the reason the Yankees, if they do, suck this year. I think you have to put him in there, stop with this stopgap nonsense, and just, while you're winning, you play the youth movement. Your 1 through 6 is already like significant, solid veteran hitters. It's already solidified. So you got 7, 8, 9. Like, Volpe could be down there. One of your catchers, obviously, and then, who I think we're missing Verdugo possibly. Like, let's think about this right now. I have a piece of paper with me, so it actually works out really well. So you got, let's say number 1 is DJ for those circumstances. Number 2 is Soto, though I think he should be in the 3 hole. You got Judge batting 3rd. You got Rizzo batting 4th. I know it's probably going to be Stan, but we're going to put Rizzo. You got Stanton batting 5th. You got Glaber batting 6th. 7th, you could either put Wells or you could put Verdugo. Do you think 7th or 9th for Verdugo? Or do you want to just, like, where do you want to put?
I'd say 7th for Verdugo.
I actually agree with that, yeah.
So Verdugo 7th. You got 8th and 9th. One could be Volpe, one could be Wells.
I put Wells in the 8 and Volpe in the 9.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Because you can't really stack them. Like, Volpe, in my opinion, is either 1, 7, or 9.
Yeah, put less pressure on Volpe. That's the same thing we said about him last year. But let him be the guy to get on base at the bottom of the order.
Yeah.
Right. And can I throw in my 2 cents?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm in complete agreements here with Mr. Alex, the man on my left to the panel. But nevertheless, here's why I'm in agreements. One, you think about what Trevino brings. He brings great defense, right? But he wasn't ever really this offensive, juggernaut. Mm-hmm. And, before, I think it was 2 seasons ago, he kind of broke out for like the first half. Then he cooled down a little offensively. Last year was a little hard to judge because of the injury. But Austin Wells is a guy who has shown in the minors he's got 25 home run potential. I mean, that's not something that's impossible with this guy. I think he can get there if they play him every day. Obviously, you got Rortvedt as the backup. But also, besides the fact that I think it was, I forgot if it was Boone, he was saying he was actually kind of impressed with Wells defensively. So maybe he's not as bad as it's deemed to be. But also, here's the one other thing I'll say. Garrett Cole was very comfortable with Ben Rortvedt as his catcher. So for anyone saying that Jose Trevino needs to be there for, Garrett Cole, because he is obviously, Garrett Cole, arguably your most important player, being your best pitcher and your only reliable pitcher at this point, as everyone else has something to prove. But you can have Rortvedt catch specifically for Garrett Cole, and that's fine. And then you can give Austin Wells the other time to work with the other pitchers.
No, yeah, I absolutely agree. Luca, you have any thoughts to add?
No, I agree. I think he has the offensive potential that Trevino does not, and let Wells work through his struggles. Same thing with what we said about Anthony Volpe last year. Let him work through his struggles, play the youth, and he has the more potential as if we've seen it. So yeah. I'm all in on Austin Wells being the opening day catcher personally.
I hope, and this is not like a direct shot at you guys, but all the Yankee boys and Yankee fans that were killing Anthony Volpe last year, to not kill these kids, man. Like, seriously, they're gonna learn, they're gonna get better. You saw, some improvements in this game. I am not saying that the prospects are gonna be good right away, but don't kill these kids if they're going through slumps, man.
No, absolutely.
It's one of my biggest. Go ahead.
And you were a guy that was like Dude, you were telling Brian to calm down because Brian's a big Volpe guy.
I told him to calm down, saying he's like all this already. I mean, he did not have a good year last year, Volpe.
No,
He didn't.
yeah, of course.
I still think he's got a lot of talent, but let's not praise them if they're, unless they're doing good, then don't praise them, treat
Holy
them like
shit.
that.
I'm looking at the strikeout numbers for Volpe, John.
Mhm.
He had a total.
27%.
What the fuck is it? MLB is so demented, it's not even funny. He had
Okay.
167 strikeouts last year.
Yeah, no, that's not good by any stretch. That's not good for a young player. Now hopefully he cuts down on that and he learns to be more of a line, because I think his game is a line drive hitter.
Yeah.
I think it is. And going back to Austin Wells, you don't want to kill this kid. The Yankees only have 2 left-handed hitters in this lineup. Everyday players. Rizzo and Soto. Wells would become number 3. Am I missing anyone on the left?
Verdugo. And if you swap out
Verdugo.
Verdugo, you could do Grisham.
You could do Grisham. So sorry. You got 3.
3.
You got more right-handers, and still it doesn't make sense. You have that short porch in right field.
Yeah.
You have that short porch. Put another lefty in there. Like, seriously.
So Jacob was talking about, which I want to get into the rotation next. And he's got some rotation comments. Trevino ain't going to be injured opening day. He'll be ready. Why are we talking about Ben? No way he gets time over. No, he won't get time over Trevino. We're talking about the prospect if Trevino is injured to opening day. Because let's remember, as great as this Yankee team very well could be, we do remember how the injuries are managed, right?
Yes.
So this is a little bit of a hot take. I would say it's too early to say, my opinion. When he hit that home run against Toronto Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
I was impressed. I'm like, dude, this guy just got drafted and he's already hitting opposite field dingers. But I would say it's too soon. Now, if you think about it this way, in my opinion, now call me a little bit of a hater, and I've always never been on the Gargle Volpe train, but it is an interesting point to make if he never gets moved up the lineup this year. Because you do have a stacked 1 through 6 on paper. But if he never gets a chance at 1 or 2 or somewhere there, you kind of have to worry about, okay, is he what he is? Like, is this guy going to hit 220, hit 20 home runs and strike out 167 times? That's where people need to temper their expectations. And I'm not saying they're wrong to have either low expectations, whatever. But remember, the Yankees championed this guy as the next Jeter, and so did so many other people. The Yankees like Snell per Heyman and could afford Snell, but they don't love the tax implication. I mean, if it gets you a World Series, you kind of have to push that aside.
So what?
But yeah, you have to push that aside. I mean, I'm not the biggest Snell fan. John could tell you, Luca could tell you. But I mean, if it does make the rotation better, you kind of have to go with it, which I do want to.
More of a proven product, if we're being completely honest.
It's you have a question mark. Luca,
I was also going to say that he's probably going to be signed in the short term.
Yeah, it's I believe, as people were saying on Jets Twitter, this is an all-in year. I think it should be. Treat it like an all-in year. Like, you have no other options. We talked about this last week. Like, Glaber's a free agent, Verdugo's a free agent, Soto's a free agent. Treat this like your all-in year. And there's also, I know, the opt-out in a few years. Mm-hmm. But if you don't go that route, I think, again, I'm not going to say too much for specific reasons, but I was on this train a few months ago. I think when Yamamoto went to the Dodgers, I said, go trade for Dylan Cease. I think the Yankees should do that. Now, I don't know what Chicago is going to ask of him or ask of, the Yankees in general, because the Yankees have a depleted pitching system. Because they traded Drew Thorpe. They traded this guy. They traded that guy. So you do have Chase Hampton in the building. You also do have Will Warren. And you also, if possible, you do have MLB ready arms that Chicago could take a chance on. You could throw in a Clark Schmidt. You could throw in a Luis Heel. I'm not necessarily down on those ideas. Just remember, hey, how much are you giving up? B, this is an all-in year.
I honestly think a package of Spencer Jones and a Will Warren, throwing a few minor leaguers there. Maybe you throw in even Everson Pereira because he might not have a spot.
He's not going anywhere. Well, he's not going anywhere. He's not going to be anywhere.
Yeah. Is that something like you would be on board with?
Again, it depends what they would want. I would say mostly Curtin to pitching. If Cease is not like what he used to be, but if it is a deal breaker for terms of like getting Cease that you throw in a Spencer Jones, you probably should do it because you don't know what other offers Chicago has all on the table.
I think I'm a little more higher on Cease. I think he's in one of those spots where he's just on a bad team. Kind of, I know it's I'm not trying to compare a pitcher to a position player, but a guy that I really look at, kind of in a similar situation, a Matt Olson kind of player. Remember, he wasn't as good as he was with Oakland. You figure Dylan Cease could probably be a lot better than he is at a Yankee uniform, other than a crummy White Sox uniform. I mean, that organization had its own problems last year. You have to figure – I know they are, and you have to figure how much that affects his stats and his performance at times. But he does have, like, really good, stuff.
Jacob says if Soto stays, Spencer Jones moves to first. When has that ever been? Personally, me, I've never known about it. When has that been an idea?
I mean, if you don't extend Soto, I mean, I'm saying you guys should.
No, yeah. He's saying if Soto, I'm just generally asking, like, where has the first base idea for Spencer Jones ever been a topic?
I have never heard of that.
I'll tell you why. I mean, I think I heard it last year, but I'll tell you this: there's one certain person that is suggesting that if Soto stays and Spencer Jones stays, that Soto or Judge moves to first.
How about we do neither of that?
I think we know who said person is.
Type it in private chat because I have
no idea.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, no.
Nevertheless, even if they don't extend Soto, right? Let's say they didn't, and they didn't know that. You can't tell me that an outfield of Dominguez, Judge, and I don't know, Verdugo. You tell me you wouldn't want you tell me that's I'll live with that outfield.
Yeah,
of course.
I think
opposed to not going after Cease.
I think going back to that with the first base idea, I don't love that idea. I think if you get rid of Stanton at the deadline to like a garbage team or whatever the case may be, slot Dominguez in as a DH. He's the least athletic outfielder that we have. I mean, Judge has his wears and tears, and Soto is an average defender.
But would you platoon Judge and Dominguez at DH?
I'm talking if Spencer Jones is ready for next year.
No, I know. I'm saying, would you platoon them at designated hitter?
You could take that chance. Let's see. Don't mention his name at all. He's talking about said person. Where does Jones play? Again, he played first base at Vanderbilt in 19, Summer Ball 21. I just don't love the idea because you're kind of pigeonholing him in a position. And what if he's not good at first base? Remember, Gleyber Torres was a shortstop. Remember, in the minor leagues, he was a shortstop. Couldn't do shit at shortstop in the majors. So, I would just
what about
DH Dominguez, Jones, Judge, Soto in the outfield, no particular.
And does that affect their pursuit of Murakami?
They should still get Murakami. I mean, though, in that situation, why do I feel like we had on the Yankees offseason stream, we had a first baseman name mentioned to us?
Christian Walker?
No, it wasn't Christian Walker. It was a name that name I brought up. I feel like Dane mentioned a name. Could be somebody else. I know Jacob will probably think of it. He's ready now, Alex. Soto hasn't played much DH in his career. Dominguez is really fast. He needs to be in the outfield. I kind of I don't know if he's he could be that fast, but I just don't like Ben Rice. There we go. Thank you, Jacob. Ben Rice. That's the player I was talking about. If they don't want Murakami, I want Murakami. If they don't feel it's within the tax thresholds, boom, there's your option. And then, of course, if you put Cease on there, you won't have to re-sign some of these other guys, and you could have like a good rotation. But let's see. Any final thoughts
regarding the Yankees?
Yeah, you guys can put in questions.
I mean, I just want to speak on the early returns of the pitching staff. I didn't really watch the Saturday's game. I really couldn't watch it. Plus, it wasn't really televised. Sunday, I thought Rodon looked solid for a first start. The fastball was really working. It was hitting high velocity. He was getting hitters out. The off speed was a little bit out of control, but eventually he found his control on that. So not bad. Stroman had struggles in his first start. He looked good in the first inning and then struggled in the second, finding his spots with the off speed, as they say. But it's early to kind of mention anything critical, but just those are my reports from what I watched.
Okay, so Anthony Garcia meant Spencer Jones. Okay, yeah. Stroh looked cooked. Just hopefully, again, I'm not gonna do any early reactions, but if he looks like that in the regular season, he better mature the fuck up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Try to warn everyone about Marcus Stroman.
Hey, listen.
He's a unknown. Not that he's an unknown. He's not.
Oh no, we know what he is.
He's a variable. Mm-hmm.
Variable X factor. What's up to Felix 33 says Cortez looks shaky. Yeah, that's
I looked at the numbers, but he was not helped by defense either. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, Peraza, I think, had 2 errors, right?
Peraza, I think Soto had an error apparently.
Yeah, Anthony, he's starting to give fans heart attacks too. I take Stroman over Severino, who makes 5 starts a year. As a pitcher, if you're talking,
you want based on performance. Hold up,
performance based. If you're talking on the field, I'm taking Severino.
Let me stress this out here. I'm not saying the performance was better last year, but I'll say this: Severino doesn't have the baggage that Stroman comes with. And you guys will start to know what I'm talking about when things don't go his way. I'm telling you.
I just feel like Severino is a better pitcher than Stroman. Not that the Yankees downgraded. I see why they let him go.
I'm not making the argument. I'm simply saying Stroman is just not good for the locker room. He's not. He makes too much noise off the field.
Especially Twitter.
He's gonna, at some point, you're gonna see it. He's gonna get into a stupid fight. He's gonna mouth off to the wrong person. It happened with the Mets. That's his MO. That's who he is.
It's kind of a prove-it situation because he says, remember he had a lot of animosity towards the Yankees and Brian Cashman. That's why he tweeted all negative shit at Yankee fans. But you know what? It's not just about the Yankee fans. It's proved to me that you're mature. And obviously, John, you're right. He does have some baggage in the past. Mm-hmm. So that's why prove it emotionally, prove it on the field too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Luca dips for a second.
Right. Listen, when he's on, he's an excellent ground ball pitcher. But again, no, and look, I'm not arguing the Sevy thing. I'm simply saying Stroman has a mouth on him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we don't want to hear all these different things of, hey, X source said this or independent source said that. Like, I don't want to hear that if the Yankees don't do good. And I think they will do good, but Luca left, so I wanted to ask him: are we going to do prospect of the week first? Or are we going to do Jets?
He's probably getting more dinner.
I haven't had a chance to eat, but this guy gets to fucking mouth off
seconds before you get first. Is that fair, guys?
No, it's not fair. It's not fair. But wasn't he good on the Mets?
He had some solid time, but he's just too much, man. He's a guy that wears his emotion on the game, and but he's not mature. He's a very immature player. He'll go at it with fans on Twitter too that rip him. I'm telling you.
I have receipts. But
go at it.
Luca, let's see if okay, he doesn't have the headphones on. Now he's looking for something.
Is he gonna raise his hand?
Now he walks away. Okay, so we're gonna do something here.
Alex, now we can't hear you.
Okay, so before
if you see me scrambling, it's because I'm trying to find a charger for my computer.
Oh wait, there's I kind of hogged one.
Idiot.
I'll bring it up shortly. But my question is, Should we do prospect of the week next, or should we do this Jets mocks off season?
John chanting JETS for the first time in a while, but yeah, listen, let's start it up.
All right, so I'll let you guys do that. I'm gonna put the charger upstairs.
Alrighty, so every year the Jet X Factor website, very good content. I met Robbie Sabo actually at the Jets Eagles game, but he runs the site. A lot of good writers on there that do some great analytics and great stats. So every year they come up with an off-season simulator for the Jets, and we are going to start that simulator, John. So this is written by Ryan Gray. He does the simulator. Very good job. I do this every year. It's the most fun. But anyways, let's get to the Jets off-season simulator. And let's see what we can pull up here. First off, build on the momentum. You're about to go through a simulation. The Jets
momentum. Momentum.
That's true. Momentum.
God.
Yep. We don't listen. We don't believe in the momentum personally, but again, that's what the Jets want us to believe. But anyways, let's keep this riding, shall we? So we bring this into the start button. First off, let's be realistic about this. I know we would want to accept this in a heartbeat, but are we trading for Davante Adams?
For what pick? What year is that? 2025?
2025, round 1, round 3, 2024.
No, we're not doing it.
Because, as I said, I want to incorporate some realism.
Yeah, we're not.
Right. I agree with you. And it's going to like, oh, why aren't you trading for Davante Adams? This, and this. But to be fair, Davante Adams was a big factor in what's his name? Pierce coming back. Why would he leave? Why would the Raiders want to trade him? Right. So you have that. Next trade, Sam Howell for a 2024 round 6.
No.
Let's see the next trade, because I might be inclined to take that as a backup. Not as a backup to become a starter, but a backup. Mm-hmm. Next, you have Cortland Sutton for a 2024 round 3.
That I would probably take.
And then the next one, there's another one, Jerry Jeudy for round 4.
No.
I don't think so.
Nope.
You have Brandon Ayuk for round 1. I'm sorry, I don't think that's realistic.
Yeah, I don't think they're giving him up.
You have Mike Williams, who's been often injured, 2024 rounds 3 and 6.
We're not giving up 2 draft picks for a guy that's been hurt a lot.
Next up, we have Garrett Bowles for a 2024 round 1. I don't think that's happening either.
No, I don't think so either.
Another one, George Pickens for round 3. I don't think that's happening.
I don't think so either.
Let's see what's up next. Garrett Bowles for Bryce Huff in a round 4. Trading a round 4 and Bryce Huff to Garrett Bowles.
That's a good one, actually.
You think so?
If it was straight up, I'd consider it.
Okay, we'll leave that as on the table.
Okay.
Tevin Jenkins to the Jets for Bryce Huff in a 2024 round 4. I'll pass.
No, I'd pass.
All right. So moving into the next trade, we have a lot of trades, more trades than they have in the previous seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Huff to the Texans for a 2024 round 2 and a 2025 round 5. That's intriguing. I'm not going to lie. Get your second round pick back.
That's a good one too.
Bryce Huff to the Cardinals for a 2024 round 2. Now to be fair, I'm going to check how high that Cardinals pick is.
That's true.
The Cardinals pick, I'm assuming it's really early in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be pick 35.
Okay.
That's an early.
Okay.
Bryce Huff for Cortland Sutton straight up.
No. I would do the draft. I'd be okay with Garrett Bowles.
Yeah, of course. He fills a need.
Mm-hmm.
Not that Sutton doesn't, but realistic. Round 3 the Jets trade JFM to offload some cap space, and they send a round 3 our direction.
Nah, I'm okay with that. I like JFM.
I do too. We trade John Franklin Myers to the Raiders for Hunter Renfrow and round 3.
That's a little tempting, but I lean no.
I'll lean no as well. John Franklin Myers to the Titans for Treylon Burks and
No.
No. Dylan Redunce traded to the Jets and a round 3.
No. Redunce was not.
Yeah, he's Round 6, Jets trade Zach Wilson for a 2024 round 6.
That's a pretty good.
I mean, for a round 6, I mean, I would be expecting a pick from next year, not this year, to be fair. That's something to keep an eye on. I think we could do multiple trades in these scenarios. So, next, Zach Wilson for a 2024 round 6 and 7. But I like to also count what's realistic and what's not. I don't think the Niners are trading 2 picks for Zach Wilson.
That's fair.
Here's another trade. This is a trade back scenario. A trade back, not.
Don't want to trade back.
No, I'm sorry. This is a trade up scenario actually, because the Titans have a higher pick than the Jets. If I'm not mistaken, the Titans have 7, the Jets have 10. So you're swapping the first round picks, but you're giving the Titans a 3. They're giving you a 6.
That's a tough one.
It's interesting because they have so many trades on here than years prior.
I know. What are you most intrigued by?
I like the Zach Wilson trade for around 6, especially in this year. I like this trade because you trade up. You're not giving up a lot. There's not, again, they have a little point system that they do with the draft picks. There's not a lot of margin between the points. It's not like you're going up to the first overall pick. You're going up 3 slots.
Right.
Cortland Sutton intrigues me, especially that if you're trading Bryce Huff along with him, or I should say, if you get value back, Garrett Bowles is also an option. So let's go into another one. Jets trade with the Giants. They trade up, and the Giants get the Jets round 3 pick.
Okay.
I mean, that's good for tackle purposes, to be fair.
That
There's
is,
no cap change. So another keep eye on the ball. Here's another trade up scenario. Final trade. The Falcons have pick number 8. The Jets will be swapping first. Jets get around 6 for rounds 3 and 4.
No, that's too many draft picks.
All right, so we'll diss off on this trade. We're not going to trade this. Are we trading with the Giants? Remember, the Titans also have offered us a trade.
We just see issues. We don't have a pick in round 2 or 3.
That's true. You're right.
That's my issue.
So, no on this trade?
No.
Same with the Titans?
We don't have a pick in round 2 or 3.
All right. Move it back once again. Niners, I don't think this is realistic personally, so we'll leave that out. Cards and Zach Wilson, we doing this?
Yeah, I would do that.
All right. So, back to the trades. Devontae Adams not happening.
Not happening.
I don't think we're trading for Sam Howell. We'll leave that out. Cortland Sutton for round 3 is semi-interesting.
Semi-interesting. Okay.
We'll leave that on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Judy round 4 not happening. Round 1 for Brandon Ayuk not happening. Mike Williams not happening. Garrett Bowles for not a round 1 I would do.
Not a round 1.
Round 3 for George Pickens, not realistic. Bryce Huff and a 2024 round 4 pick for Garrett Bowles.
I would do that. I would, personally.
I mean, I'm trying to think of the balance, right? Bryce Huff, I believe, is worth the second round pick, but you're also you're getting back Garrett Bowles, who's a solid left tackle. He is
a very, I don't think he's like the best in the game, but I think he's a very good left tackle.
He'll hold it down. Let's check. I'm going to look at some of the contract details and all that stuff. So, yeah, he would solve a need, obviously. Garrett Bowles. Why is his name not coming up? Maybe I'm misspelling it. Yeah, it's 1 R in the Garrett. Okay. Let's see. Bowles with 2 L's. All right, so his contract this year, he's a free agent next year. So it's honestly kind of a rental. $16 million this year. He signed a $4-year, $68 million extension a couple of years ago.
With our need, I think he's more valuable. Personally, I say yes to that.
Yeah, why not? Because, I expect a round 2 back for Huff, in my opinion. But Bowles, they're going to say, okay, we're trading our left tackle to fill up for you guys to fill a need, but lose one. Same for us. I'll accept that trade. Back to trades once again. Let's see if we have any others that we want to conquer. Cortland Sutton for round 3. Yes or no? Or do you want to sign it for free agent wide receiver?
I think there's plenty of wideouts better than Cortland Sutton.
Fair. No Mike Williams, no Pickens, no Franklin Myers. No, I'm not doing a Renfro trade personally, in my opinion.
Neither am I.
Burks, no. Redunce, no. I
think
we'll just skip right to free agency.
I think we made our trades. I don't want to move up just yet. I don't think it's worth it to give up a round 3 because we don't have the round 2. If we did, I'd say yes, but we don't have a round 2 pick.
Okay, let's go to the free agency period.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have to clear cap space now. Re-sign you guys first off. Are we re-signing Carl Lawson?
That's hysterical. No.
Yes. 3 years, $48 million.
So right now, this is the available cap space. First of all, let's clear space first. That would be the right thing to do. Who is your first cut candidate? Obviously, let's be honest. Lakin Tomlinson is the first.
He's already did they update it already? It's gone.
The answer to that is tackle. Where are the guards?
Go up. Up.
They might have updated it already, honestly.
No way. That's pretty cool if they did.
Because you got Titman, Bowles, some guy, Mitchell, Ruckert, Conklin.
Well, I see a cut candidate up there, CJ Uzama.
Yes.
Oh, the guards are down here.
Oh, yeah, the guards are down here. So, first off, we're cutting Lakin Tomlinson.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I think you clicked the wrong thing.
Shit, did I?
I don't know who you cut.
Hold on, let me see. Give me 1 second, because I might have cut the wrong person on mistake. Unless you want to go back.
Can we go back and just accept the trades again and then Luca?
Yes, let's restart the simulator. There we go.
Oh my God, Armin says you cut AVT. No, what are you doing? You clown. You clown.
You cut ABT, you do realize that. Luca.
I was just watching this one moment from the next game. Sorry.
Oh my God.
You cut ABT.
Yeah, I just restarted the simulator. So sorry about that, folks. Interesting moment in the next game. All right, so we're gonna do the Bryce Huff trade. That's what we did. Back to trades.
And the Zach Wilson for the Cardinals.
2024 round 6. Zach Wilson, accept that trade. No more trades, right? Just want to make sure. No more trades.
No more trades.
Now, give me 1 second.
No cutting AVT. Did he have to?
I still don't know how he did that. He should be fired.
I don't know what he did.
Luca Gettleman.
God.
Bye-bye.
We go.
All right. Anyways, let's go right to the roster. So, again, clear
right.
space. It's going to be Lakin Tomlinson, not Elijah Vera Tucker. That would be silly.
Mm-hmm.
Lakin Tomlinson, $8 million saved.
Boom.
There we go.
Okay.
Next up,
CJ Uzama. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. All right, so we have 8 left. Max of 10 players that can be cut or restructured.
Can we cut one more guy?
All right, so let's go down the list. Nobody really here.
Michael Clemens, can we cut?
It is positive we save about $793 million.
Can we cut him?
Yes, we can. Let's move that over here. He's gone. Next up, well, we'll go to the linebackers. Do you want to cut Mosley, Williams, Surratt? I don't think so, personally.
No.
DJ Reed, we'll go into restructures in a second.
Nope.
Tony Adams, Jamie Sherwood, they're going to stay. Warren's. Seibert's not going to stay.
No.
Seibert you use for like kicking competition.
We can always
in the preseason they do that.
No, I know, but let's just save money for saving money. John, what do you say?
Yeah, we could always bring in someone new for kicking competition.
All right, so nobody we want to cut anymore. So right now, our cap space at this very moment is $26 million. That's not a lot.
No.
So we could help this out by restructuring. Now, they don't have the extension option. And this is truth, by the way. If you sign Conklin and Reed to extensions, you actually save some money off the cap. So first off, we're going to restructure DJ Reed. I think that has to be a must.
Mm-hmm.
With that, you add about $3-4 million to the cap, $30 million at this present moment. Next up, we have other restructured candidates. We have John Franklin Myers, signed an extension a couple of years ago. Quinn Williams, who signed a contract last year. You have C.J. Mosley. You have Quincy Williams. Again, this is also potentially
Alan Lazard.
Lazard, unfortunately, you can't cut him.
No, I was saying restructuring.
Oh, you can't. It doesn't give you that option. And plus, do you really want to restructure Lazard? Do you want to push his years down the line? Because you want to make sure you want to cut him for next year, not year after, just like the Jets did with Tomlinson.
Fair enough.
So, who do you want to restructure? Now, it's going to give you the positive numbers. We get $6 million with John Franklin Myers, $4 million with Quinnen, $6 million with Mosley, and $1.3 million with Quincy Williams. Now, I believe Mosley's a free agent after this season, so it wouldn't hurt necessarily to restructure his contract.
Yeah. Who gives us the most to restructure?
Let me just double check something. Mosley's a free agent next year, so for first say that. John Franklin Myers first with 6.3. Mosley is $6 million.
They're using the Jet X Factor off-season simulator. There is no Giants one, unfortunately.
We could do JFM.
Restructure? All right. Then CJ Mosley. Again, you're probably just kicking another year down the road, which is not terrible.
Yeah.
All right. So right now we are at $42.4 million. Now, is there anybody else you want to restructure? Quinn Williams would add $4.8 million to the cap. Quincy Williams was just signed $1.3 million to the cap.
I think that's fine with 42 mil.
All right. So now we're going to go into our free agents. Who do we want to resign? Carl Lawson, John?
Nope.
Let's go down.
What a dope.
Let's go down because for some reason my thing froze. Here we go. Dwayne Brown.
Nope. I like saying no to a lot of these guys.
Whitehead, I say no.
Nope.
No, Alex, no one's talking to you. Quentin Jefferson, 2 years, $9 million. I'm not against this.
I would sign him.
He was a solid starter.
I would sign him.
All right, so it's about $4.5 million per year. I'm down for that, especially for somebody who played as well as he did last year.
Yep. Bring back Quentin Jefferson.
Chuck Clark, $2.5 million.
I would do it 1 year.
$2.5 million.
I would do it.
All right.
I would do it.
Next up, Greg Zuerlein, 1 year, $3 million.
Yes, Greg the Leg is back. Yep, we'll get our kicker back.
Solomon Thomas.
Nah.
I think I'll pass on him for the current cap situation. Would I mind resigning him? No. But current cap situation. Justin Hardy.
Yes, I'll re-sign him for special teams. Yep, there you go.
Connor McGovern, depth purposes, $1.9 million.
Yeah, I would do that for that contract. Yep. McGovern.
Ashton Davis, 1 year, $2 million.
You know what? I didn't like him, but he had a really strong season for depth purposes. I'll do it. Ashton Davis.
Thomas Morstead.
Oh, our MVP of the team.
Next up, Al Woods. I think he's a little on the older side. I think we can get somebody new in the draft.
Sorry, it was a little loud. The thumbs down is
apparent.
No, for Al Woods.
Bryce Hall, depth. I don't think so.
Nah, don't need Bryce Hall.
This boy.
No. Goodbye. Go work at Walmart.
Kenny Yeboah.
Nah.
I think you sign him for something less. You could probably draft. You honestly, you have Zach Kuntz take over as the depth.
Yeah. I don't need Kenny Yeboah.
And that is the end of our free agents for re-signing our guys. So right now, our cap space stands at $24.4 million. That's not a lot, to be fair.
Right.
Unless you feel you want to do more restructuring, we'll just advance right to the regular free agency period.
I think we're just going to have to roll with $24 million.
Okay. Remember, this is what happens, guys, when you try to go all in with a bunch of restructures and void years bullshit. But anyways, advance. All right, John, what first position should we look at?
Now I have a question. Hold up.
How
much money do we need to save for the draft again?
Around usually between $7 to $10 million.
Okay. So that gives us about $14 million to spend.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Are we looking at wide receiver first?
Well, how do they give this list?
So obviously they have the same thing, contracts. Obviously, you have the higher tier receivers here. Samuel, Evans, all that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
they give out the sample contracts. So
Mike Evans, we can't afford.
no, the six was that 69 divided. That's $23 million.
Can't afford
No,
it. Odell.
no.
Don't want him. Anyway.
Curtis Samuel, 2 years, $22 million. That's $11 million.
11 million. Don't think we can afford him.
For a slot receiver? No.
Tyler Boyd, same thing.
Would like to. Don't think we could afford him.
Kendrick Bourne, same
No.
contract.
Yep.
Marquise Brown, similar contract.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Ridley, 1 year's $12 million.
Part of me really wants to say yes for Calvin Ridley, but we'll see what else is available.
Noah Brown, $5 million. I think he's more of a wide receiver 4.
Mm-hmm.
T. Higgins, we're going to leave him off the table. I think should franchise tag. Michael Pittman, 4 years, $96 million. That's $24 million a year.
Can't afford him.
Richie James.
Says KJ Osborne.
Well, we'll see what he's offering. Osborne. Gabe Davis, 1 year, $11 million. I think I'll pass. Darnell Mooney, 1 year, $10 million. 1 year, $6.5 million for Osborne.
I actually would like that. One of either Darnell, KJ Osborne's a really.
I think he's the. Not saying he's the bargain, but he's like he is kind of a bargain deal. Like $6.5 million 1 year.
I think he could be a solid wideout 3.
And then would you draft a wide receiver 2 in the draft?
Possibly, yes.
I guess we'll roll with Osborne. Now this is the thing. Now we have to see if they accept our offer. So KJ Osborne, 1 year and $6.5 million. The answer is he accepts. So he is now a member of the Jets.
And we also
that leaves $17 million now. So that leaves us
offensive line help. Oh wait,
backup quarterback.
And back we need it. Now here's the thing: we already do have one tackle. And Garrett Bull. So, draft-wise, I think we should draft 2 offensive linemen.
Okay.
Let's go get the backup quarterback.
Backup quarterback, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. So we got Russell Wilson, 1 year, $3 million. Tyrod Taylor, 1 year, $5 million.
Pass on Tyrod.
Jacoby Brissett, 1 year, $8 million.
It's possible. See what else is available.
Marcus Mariota, $5 million.
Nope.
Yes.
Sam Darnold, a year, $4 million.
Nope. Alex, stop clowning around.
Jameis Winston, $6 million.
That's a possibility. I would do Jameis.
Drew Lock, $4 million.
He's possible.
Baker Mayfield, I think he's going to sign for a starter deal, not a backup.
Yep.
Gardner Minshew, $8 million.
Yeah, I would do him.
Josh Dobbs, $3 million.
No, I don't want Josh Dobbs.
And that's pretty much that. So what are our options, John?
I'm leaning with Gardner Minshew.
Well, let's see if he signs first. He signs elsewhere.
Oh. All right. Backup option.
Lock, Winston.
Jameis.
Famous Jameis signs elsewhere.
Oh, come on. All right, go up.
You said
it's going to be Drew Lock.
Marcus Mariota, Tyrod Taylor, Jacoby Brissett. He is signed elsewhere.
Oh
it's
my God.
Drew Lock, guys. Drew Lock is going to be the Jets' backup quarterback. I dare you. Click on him.
Do you want to do Drew Lock, John?
He's not horrible for a backup.
He accepts.
Told you. I told you.
That leaves us with about $13 million.
Is not a backup. I mean, Drew Lock is a backup in this league. That's what he is.
Well,
you could try to see if there's a cheap interior O lineman.
Well, do you want to do that, John?
How much cap? We have 13?
About $4 million to spare.
$3 million. All right, we'll see. Anyone for $3 million, that's decent.
All right. So Graham Glasgow's been mentioned in Jet circles. So first of all, I don't think Connor Williams is taking that type of deal, in my opinion. I know he tore his ACL. I don't think that's realistic, $6 million. I think he's going to want more of a bargain, bigger contract. So we have Kevin Zeitler, Connor Williams.
We need to look at guys in the $3 million range.
James Hurst, who's been mentioned. He played some starter role for the Saints last year. He's okay. I think he's more of a higher depth quality guy.
Now, remember, do you think these are all better than guys that we could draft?
if we draft let's think about this methodically. What's your plan for the offensive line? We have Bowles at left tackle. We have Titman likely at center. We have ABT at right guard. So right tackle and left guard are the only options that are holes. Hurst is a left guard.
Well, would you do Fuaga and then draft your guy in the third?
Like a Christian Haynes or a Christian Mahogany?
Yeah.
Something like that, I guess.
I just want to look over the rest of the options, and then I'm likely more lean draft, but let's go down a little bit. Glasgow, $5 million. Allegretti, $2.5 million. Tyler Shatley, $3 million. Remember, we also might have to sign depth linemen. John Feliciano.
How much?
$3 million 1 year.
He wouldn't be bad for depth.
We did re-sign McGovern just for the backup center spot.
Mm-hmm.
We also have former Jet Greg Van Roten.
No.
Osua Opeta
from the Eagles.
By the way, we also do have Wes Schweitzer, so let's count this out. First of all, let's go back to our roster.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it says clear space, we still have it has updated. I'm just going to pull up because we have Quinn Jefferson here. All right, let's go to our guard depth, right? We have Vera Tucker and Schweitzer on the interior. Now, AVT is a starter. Schweitzer is depth.
Okay.
We also have McGovern, who could play guard and center.
Right.
So do you want to sign another guard guy, or do you want to draft the guard?
I think I'm leaning toward a draft.
All right, let's go back to the free agents. Suopeta, Aaron Stinney, Ezra Cleveland, obviously starter level money. Tyler Larson, $1.5 million. Try Turner, $2 million. Damian Lewis, 4 years, $32 million. Jonah Jackson, who's also a very good starter. Will Clapp. Lloyd Cushenberry, who's been mentioned also as well. Obviously, he's more of a starter. John Simpson, Coleman Shelton, Tyler Biotish, and John Runyon.
I think we just have to go into the draft.
Is there any more positions you want to solidify? I would look at the safety room personally, unless you want to draft.
No, let's look at the safety room.
Okay, let's go up. Safeties aren't exactly worth a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Micah Hyde, 1 year, $5 million. He's a little older. Keep in mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what else we got?
Jaron Curse, 1 year, $2 million.
How about Deshaun Gibson?
He had a good year in San Fran, but I think they passed on him. Not that they passed on him, but I think he's leaving because A, he's 33 years old. B, they have younger options in Hufanga and some other. I don't know who else they have at safety, but that's just the options. I'm considering him. He's a little older, but I'm considering him. I just don't want him to be just like Lamar.
He was with Salah in Jacksonville.
That's true. He was. You also have McKinney, Kyle Duggar, Deshaun Elliott, Geno Stone, Julian
Stone
Blackmon,
is a ball hawk, but I know you may not be able to afford him.
Alohi Gilman from the Chargers.
No, I don't want Gilman.
Jordan Fuller, Cameron Curl.
Yes, Jamal Adams.
Nope.
Not at all.
I would say Deshaun Gibson.
Let me look at Jaron first. Hyde is a good option. I think he's a little on the older side as well. Hyde is 33, same age. Let's see how old Jaron Curse is. Again, these are also 1 year deals. So Curse is younger. Let me see if PFF has like a profile on him because I know they do their top free agent list. Let's see.
I agree, Max.
Jaron Curse. Gotta let's see if I can find anything. How much money could he make? I'm just trying to find out. Let's see. Curse is coming off the worst year of his career, unfortunately. So, John, let's go with Gibson first. Okay.
Gibson? Okay.
He's going to sign elsewhere.
Oh.
Yep. He signed elsewhere.
All right. You want to offer Micah Hyde a contract?
He signs elsewhere.
Yes. All right. Then we leave everyone else.
You're going for a draft on this one. What about Deshaun Elliott?
How much
That's
is he?
$9 million a year. That's going to
No.
What? Alex, what are you talking about? 2 years, $10 million. That's 5. Where did you get your math?
Oh, it looks like an 8. I'll give him that. But I'll do Deshaun Elliott for that.
He signs elsewhere.
Give him credit.
Where's Julian Blackmon from? Why am I blanking? Colts.
Colts. No, I don't want him.
Okay, so we're going to the draft.
Yep.
Let's see if there's any more positions that I would take up. How about backup running back, a veteran running back. Not as a 1, as a 2. Josh Jacobs, no. Tony Pollard, no. Saquon Barkley, no. Austin Eckler. Patterson, Edwards, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Swift. I think he goes back to Philly, in my opinion, unless they really cap help.
Cam Akers.
No.
Cam Akers, Amir Abdullah, J.K. Dobbins, often injured, Matt Breida, Kareem Hunt. Hunt would actually be a really nice option. He's a power guy.
I would take Kareem Hunt.
And he accepts.
Okay, good job.
Any more positions? Let's go to the draft. Now we're going to evaluate our free agent signings for Drew Lock, Kareem Hunt. Haven't signed a receiver, which is okay. Yes, we did. KJ Osborne. My bad on that one. We have Garrett Bowles via trade. Defensive line, we obviously acquired Quentin Jefferson. We traded Bryce Huff, so unfortunately, that's that. No linebackers in terms of safeties. We signed Chuck Clark via re-sign, and we also I don't think we signed a safety. So let's move on to the draft. All righty. Let's start the 2024 NFL draft. We have Fashanu right there and waiting for us. But unfortunately, does he play only left or right tackle?
Left tackle.
Shit.
It's all right. We still got Fuaga.
You would take him over Fashanu?
I mean, look, if Fashanu only plays left and Fuaga only plays right.
And what are the odds that Fashanu is actually going to fall to 10?
That's real. You got to think with realism there. So
it's possible, but I doubt it. But I'm going with Fuaga.
I'm just making sure of something. We're going to go with Talise Fuaga.
Luka was going to get Brock Bowers.
No, I was checking if he was available because I know a lot of Jet fans out there do want Brock Bowers over over some of these tackles, which to me doesn't make any sense. Let's go. We're going to have to wait till I think round 3 for this one.
That's okay. Now, also remember, we traded away our pick in round 4.
Right. Latham could have worked as well, but I think Latham has weight issues. I'll have to look at more of the tape. But we were around 3, pick 8. Are we looking at wide receiver?
Safety.
Who's available at wideout and interior?
Johnny Wilson, Malachi Corley, Ricky Pearsall. I love Brendan Rice here personally.
Who's in the interior?
Interior offensive line. Let's go. Zach Zinner, Christian Haynes, Christian Mahogany, Dominic Puny, Isaiah Adams, Javon Cohen. Do we go offensive line and receiver? Because I don't think let's also look at our picks, right? Players. No, not players. Let's go to our history. Jets picks. Here we go. So it doesn't say what picks we have left, which kind of sucks. But what are we looking at, John? Are we filling the offensive line void, or are we going to fill the wide receiver void?
Let's not be stupid. Let's protect Aaron Rodgers. I'd like to take Christian Haynes.
Let's be stupid. Let's protect Aaron Rodgers.
No. We can draft a wideout in the next pick. I know it's not going to be like a Brendan Rice. I'm sure he's going to go.
But, yeah, he went to the Niners.
That's fine. Oh, could you? That's kind of funny.
We do have Roman Wilson available.
You know what? That was a good pick then. That was good. We also got Jamari Thrash in there, but I like Roman Wilson.
No
I like
safety,
that.
huh?
What happened?
We can wait.
Safety?
We can wait.
Safety sounds pretty good.
Got a little bit, so just give it a sec.
Mustafa went. I was hoping maybe he was available.
We were in round 6, folks.
We can do safety. We can do quarterback.
There's Kenny Logan, Evan Williams, Dadrian Demerson, Dejon Anthony. I don't know some of these guys personally.
I know Evan Williams. What about?
He did have a nice Senior Bowl.
What about at quarterback?
Spencer Sanders, Devin Leary, Kadon Slovis, Carter Bradley. Carter Bradley's more 7th round, personally.
Yep. Now let's look at the safety. Wait, we saw that. We don't need a running back. We don't need. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think safety makes the most sense here.
I think we go Evan Williams. He had a nice Senior Bowl.
Kid out of Oregon.
That's also another pick.
All right.
You want to pass up Amani Bailey? Or do you want to go after like a depth corner or a depth
Let me see
interior
what
line?
the defensive line is. Remember, we lost Huff and Clemens.
Defensive line. Let's go to that. Edge. Not a lot of. There's Eric Watts out of UConn,
McGregor's solid.
and then there's if you,
Mm,
we also cut Michael. Yeah, we did cut Clemens, then obviously. So
I would-
what do we?
I would
There's
take McGregor.
McGregor.
I don't really notice to recognize any other names down there, but I would take Brady McGregor.
There's also Javante John Baptiste out of Notre Dame, Miles Cole of Texas Tech, Eric Watts. So we're going with McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
Another pick, round 7, pick 35.
Maybe here we can get. Do we want to go running back, or you want to go developmental quarterback? What's more important to you? I think quarterback, because I think the running back room could be filled with. We already have Hall.
You can get an undrafted free agent personally.
Yeah, we already have Hall, Hunt, and Izzy. Those 3 guys.
Let me see. Well, it doesn't show what players, what picks we have remaining. Unless we can't go up further.
Do we want to look at?
I think this is one of the final picks, actually. So you know what? We'll go with Carter Bradley in personally.
Boom, baby.
Jets have the next quarterback,
and we have another pick.
So maybe we can take a. We also could maybe. Do we even look at tight end?
We have, to be fair, we have Zach Kuntz. There's not a lot of known names here.
Yeah, and we already have Ruckert as a backup, and then plus Conklin, solid-ish.
What about depth corner? We did leave Bryce.
You have Converse.
That's true.
That's true. We already have him to fill at a depth role.
Fullback.
We have Austin Jones and Kamani Vidal as the lead running backs.
Ooh. Do we want to draft any? Is there any other offensive linemen we could draft for depth?
Tackle, Caden Wallace, Jared Penning, Joe Moore. Not a lot of known names. Jeremy Flax was another one.
We could take a depth tackle.
We have Carter Warren, Max Mitchell. Let's go to the Jets players. Hold on. I don't think it has that option for us, unfortunately. Yeah, so we have. I'm just remembering we have Carter Warren. We also have Max Mitchell.
What about depth interior line?
That's true. Interior offensive line: Donovan Jennings, Willis Patrick, Aaron Frost, C.J. Hansen. I think we'll go with depth tackle, right, John?
Yeah, I do like Jeremy Flax. I think he could be a decent depth tackle.
And that'll conclude our New York Jets offseason. Signed Jefferson, Clark, Zerline, Hardy, McGovern, Davis, Morstead, Osborne, Locke, Kareem Hunt. Drafted Fuaga, Haynes, Wilson, Williams, McGregor, Bradley, and Flax. We traded Bryce Huff, Zach Wilson in a round 4 selection. We cut Tomlinson, Uzama, Clemens, and Seibert. We traded for Garrett Bowles in a round 6 pick.
Yeah, I like that. Oh, that's a good offseason.
All right. Before we get to basketball, we have prospect of the week.
Yes.
So, without further ado, let's go into our prospect of the week. Now, I'm gonna go with a theme. Sometimes I'll pick a star. Sometimes I'll pick a known guy. I'm gonna pick a not known guy from Ohio State. He's an offensive guard by the name of Matthew Jones. Now, John, if you were to take a guess, where is Matthew Jones from? And this was not why I picked him, by the way.
Well, duh. This man is easily from Notre. No, I'm just kidding. Ohio State.
No. What? Where's like geographically?
Like you mean where he's New York? Is he?
Yep.
Okay.
What part of New York?
There's no way. Is he from Brooklyn?
Yep, he's from Brooklyn.
Oh crap!
He went to school in Flatbush, believe it or not. So
did he go to Lincoln?
He went to Erasmus Hall.
Erasmus. Okay. Damn.
So little bit of a geographical thing, but Matt Jones, offensive guard, 6'4", 315, 7 games this year, 762 snaps, 0 sacks, 1 hit, and 4 hurries. I just want to make sure I got that thing right about Mr. Matt Jones. No, not this part. Just want to make sure I got his games right. It's probably more than 7 games. So he had 12 games, but anyway. All right, so we're gonna get into it right here. Again, I usually do the stats, the takeaways, positive, negative, and summary afterwards. So I've clipped 3 games of film here. I clipped Penn State, I clipped Michigan, and Notre Dame. So all very good opponents. He's number 55. He's at right guard. So this is about 4-ish minutes of film. You see right here, something I looked at with JPJ last week, understanding of angles. This thing is a little flimsy, so bear with me, but solid pad level, but we'll get into that more in the weaknesses, hint, hint. But again, just understanding angles and putting his guy out of the way. Number 55 again. And just flipping his hips really well so that the running back could cut to the outside. Here, not necessarily flipping the hips, but just the defender's getting low, and so is Jones here. And he's, not the greatest angle in the world, but he's just making sure with his strength, he can shove the guy off to the side. 55 again, it's a different angle this time. Again, knowing your angles, strength at the point of attack. This one again, knowing your angles. Nice hole. 55 again, knowing your angles. Recurring theme, of course. Now, this one here is not the greatest start of a rep. As you see, the quickness is he oversets a little bit to the left, but his quickness isn't there. But he does end up, putting it into a good rep. And he angles the defender out. Now, I will add that John is now on an airplane because he has his neck roll.
No, this is my it's neck support for this, so.
Okay. So we still got 55, and he's just double teaming with the right tackle just to bully his guy down. And he's got some very good aggression, and he's a willing blocker. He's got the tenacity, as I talked about last week with JPJ. Here, again, I don't necessarily like the hat placement, the helmet placement, but it does enough to where toss, pretty big hole. Obviously without the unblocked on the left side. Now this one I'm going to just tease back a tad, because I know it starts off very quick. He's the one pulling, and a guy that Luke got to talk with a little bit actually gets burnt on this play by him because he's a smaller body. That's Maris Leafau. And this ends up going for a touchdown. So you could see his experience and his strength in running game. Here, he's going to pull, and this is another lead block and a key block too. And I believe that's Cam Hart, if I'm not mistaken. He just puts his ass into the ground. Could have been a touchdown if the running back did not fall. Here, knowing when to get low and just putting your guy into the ground again. There's one other defensive tackle from Notre Dame that's not Baptiste that's getting drafted. It's not Howard Cross. It's somebody else. I can't think of his name right now, but that was that guy. Here, we're going to get into more of his pass protection. Something that I really like about him specifically is his twists and stunt pickups. I think he's got that IQ in his brain, and you'll see it here. I mean, here, just solid, moving his feet, reshuffling his hands a little bit if needed.
Were you thinking of J.D. Bertrand?
It wasn't Bertrand. I was talking more of defensive tackle. Bertrand's a linebacker.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about another.
All good. So here, again, which we will point out in the weaknesses, sniff, sniff, hint, hint. He oversets to the left a little bit, but he does get a good angle and solid pass protection there. Here, this is, again, not a great rep at first, but he does have good recovery over here. So almost, and again, I was talking about that defensive tackle from Notre Dame who I don't know the name of, but I think that was a bad move on the defensive tackle for not pursuing more with the claw move, but nonetheless, a good rebound by Jones. Here again, this is against Maris Leafau. Everyone else is not doing their job on the right side, or at least the running back in the center are fucking their jobs up. But nonetheless, Jones stays in there with the traffic and nice block on Maris Leafau. This one here, I don't know why I cut off there, but anyway, we got this one. Again, solid rep, nothing special in pass protection. This one here going up against a bigger defensive tackle. We're shuffling the hands, what we really like, not just letting the defender get inside your chest. Okay, this one here, again, twist pickup, gets Leafau. Now the running back doesn't catch it, but that's its own separate entity. Here we are again. Not, the greatest amount of mirror ability, but hey, listen, quick pass right there. Now, again, stunt pickup, solid. This is a stunt pickup again. You'll see a couple of reps of these. And he's just solid with that. That's what I will say. We'll get to the weaknesses very shortly, but again, you see a little bit of a weakness there, which again, I know I keep teasing it, but we'll get into that. I don't know why that one cut off, but nonetheless, solid pickup, gives the quarterback just a tad bit more time. Nice help here. And I believe this is where we start to get into weaknesses a little bit. So let's see what this rep looks like. Okay, so we do start to get into the weaknesses a little bit with Matt Jones. So right here, not Mac Jones, Matt Jones. As you see, this is a good, I like that he's reshuffling his hands, but where are his hands? Very, very high, very, very wide. Not good. The next one here, quickness off the snap is a very big issue for him. And he's just, again, a cross-face mirror issue, which allows the defensive tackle to penetrate. Here, quickness off the snap. And you could just see he's kind of like lanky. He doesn't have the balance. Stumbled a little bit. This one here, you'll see it too. As he goes like this. Like usually you would try to, cut him off with an angle or something like that, which, Jones is very good at, but watch him again. This is against JD Bertrand, and Bertrand just totally pushes him out of the way. I mean, look at 55. That's not good balance right there. Here, leaning. You'll see that a lot. Leaning. Ducks his head, allows 94 to go around him. Gives the quarterback maybe an inch more time, but that doesn't really mean anything. Here, leaving his shoulders vulnerable and mirroring. Not reshuffling his hands. Just, again, balance, lean, all that sort of stuff. Here again, what do you notice? The head is down, the lean is there, and he looks silly in pass protection, though it is a completed pass. Here, again, not bad. It's a good rep, but the leaning, you see, it's just very evident. Here again, a little bit of the cross-face issue, but you see he just gets thrown to the ground by 99. Here, this is where he stumbles and fails to get, now, was it 28 missed his tackle, but still. 55 again. Just the quickness off the snap is like one of his bigger issues. Again, I'll try to slow it down. And he's not moving his feet. He's not moving his feet. He's not mirroring the opposing defender. 55 here, leaning. And, 99 essentially takes care of him at the end. Here he's going up against 55. Totally whiffs at hand placement here. And right now he's just in a bad spot where Kyle McCord has to get the ball out. I almost forgot his name for a minute. Here, a little bit of the same. He has to block up 51. Again, that's about being quick off the snap, though it is a bit of a mess. 55 again. Late to pick up his blitz. And it's not necessarily like a brutal mistake, but again, you do see where he's leaning. 55, not great hat placement, and again, he does the job, but you do see like he's torquing his body one way, and that's not even good for posture. This is just a late blitz / stunt pickup. Again, it doesn't really do anything for the quarterback, but still. Here, he just loses the battle with his guy, and at the NFL level, I don't think that's going to work out for him. Again, take a look. He's got 91. What he could do is just pass it off to 75 and take on 20-something. I think it's 28 who's here. Take on 28, leave the guy around. But instead, he's following his guy around, which this could potentially be a penalty. Bless you, John. This could potentially be an eligible receiver downfield penalty if it's, if it's maybe more upfield, but then he just loses his battle over here. Again, this here, duck, not great. It just got a few more seconds of this. So he starts out with the high pad level and then he ducks. Now we're shuffling his hands. This is a part of that issue. Nice catch by Cade Stover. Here, he just never gets hands on his guy. See, look. And then both defenders end up in the backfield. And then here, he just loses his battle once again. Let me just pull this back an inch.
Didn't look like he moved his feet either.
I think one of the things as an offensive guard, and you could do this at tackle too, is you got to power down with that left foot. And he has not been able to do that in the reps we've watched. Here, you just notice where his head is. It's down. And now that's potentially a holding penalty, which surprisingly they did not call. This one here, again, he's totally caught out of position. Just one more here. The claw move, vulnerable shoulders. That's what I was talking about. It's kind of Mark Lewinsky has that problem. And then this one here, he flopped, I believe. Let's take a look. 55. 55 on the next play. Yep, totally misses when he's supposed to help the double team. And that's the end of that. I just want to see if I missed anything with the chat. We're not trading for Jefferson. What's up to Almighty in the chat? This is what was I going to say? This is Matt Jones from Ohio State. So, summary on Mr. Matt Jones and strengths and weaknesses. Strengths, angle taking, willing blocker, solid recovery and twist and stunts. Weakness, lateral agility, quickness off the snap, leaning, pad level, and counter moves. Matthew Jones needs retooling at the NFL level when and if he is drafted. Jones is a good mean streak to him and really succeeds in the running game, putting defenders on the ground. His IQ as a football player is something to be commended as he understands two important concepts: angles in the running game and twists in the passing game. More often than not, Jones was a good helper to his fellow linemen in pass protection, and overall he has a solid anchor as a pass protector. With that being said, he often plays with a very high pad level rather than a punch or consistent anchor. I said solid, I didn't say great. He grabs the opposition's shoulder pads, which will sometimes be overlooked in the NFL. At other times, it'll be called a holding penalty. His biggest problem is his lean and his shoulder vulnerability. In the running game, his balance is a big issue, and in the passing game, he is not upright, not exhibiting a consistent anchor. With this weakness, Jones leaves his inside and outside shoulders vulnerable to claw and counter moves by the opposition. He's also not very quick off the snap, and isn't great at maneuvering in space. Overall, Jones is likely a 6th, 7th round pick or possibly an undrafted free agent signing. His running game traits blossom the most as teams who run RPO-based, running game dependent, or quick offenses in general will be a good home for Jones. I said Cowboys, I said Rams, Dolphins, and 49ers RPO heavy offense. I will leave it. I don't either, just because we have Azudu and McKeithen. They have enough issues, but I'll start with John.
I think he could be a late round pick. One thing I noticed in the film, especially because he's better in the run game, good footwork and technique down there. You see him really, Alex mentioned with, or it's been a consistent theme of Alex is mentioning with the angles. I think he does a good job in pretty much using the feet. He keeps it churning and he doesn't stop. So that helps him a lot there. And then I guess if you want the negative, he's more, he's not really the best in his pass protection. The run game is where he's going to excel at. And it's the exposure up there. As Alex said, he leans at times. So that will definitely compromise him. And, this guy might be a depth piece for someone. I don't think the Jets are going to be drafting a depth guy at 6th or 7th. Now I think he could, but I don't know if he's necessarily a guy I want. So, Luca, if you agree, disagree.
Real quickly before Luca goes, I just want to say, Max, I didn't ignore you requesting Jared Wiley 2 weeks ago. I just don't have all 22 on. They might have updated it, but I don't have all 22 on him right now.
Yeah, he has some solid traits. I got to agree with John. He's more of a developmental pick. Maybe the Jets select him, but as is, I think they have enough depth in the interior. As you said, McKeithen and Zudu cover up the interior for the Giants. They have their own issues, as you said. But does he have weight issues at all or no? What's his weight?
He sits at 315.
That's not bad for a guard, but again, the problem is the quickness off the snap, the balance, and the way he plays too high.
Okay. I'm just looking at a couple of things real quick. But Luca, if Luca doesn't know this because he wasn't here. With that being said, where do you think Matthew Jones is from?
Oh, I heard everything. He's from Brooklyn.
So he was stalking us, John.
He was gatekeeping.
I forgot. Let's see. Don't worry. He's a guy I really like. Second favorite, fourth, fifth round guy. Dolan Holker. That's an interesting name. I do see the profile. Oh, tight end / fullback. Okay. All right. But that is it for the football aspect. I'm not going to do another mock draft because we could do 1,000 of those. But I will leave it to Sir Luca and Sir John.
I thought I'd open up by saying the Knicks gave me a heart attack during the final portion of this game. It was a game for no whatever reason, but a win is a win. The Knicks won 113 to 111. And Monty Williams went off at the end of the game because he went off on the referees. But let's my good buddy Alex, Nick Central, on Twitter decided to put up a little montage of the ending with the appropriate music. So I think we got to watch it. Alex obviously probably didn't see this, so as in Alex on this panel. So let's pull it up. Let's play it.
Brunson, three-pointer, off the mark, rebound deflected, chased down, saved by Grimes to Fontecchio, knocked away, Hartstein picks it up, out to DiVincenzo, 10 seconds ago, he throws it away, ball loose, picked up by Brunson, Brunson inside the Hart's banks it in, Brunson.
That's what happened at the end of the Knicks game. And I was legit about to have a heart attack. I'm like, are we going to fucking lose to Appalachian State, as somebody said on Twitter? But a win is a win regardless. Monty, we're going to look at a replay, right? Because everybody's debating this on Twitter now. Was the Dante DiVincenzo play a foul? Because you guys saw it. He was reaching for the ball. He knocked down, I think it was a Sark Thompson. But we're going to go through a slow motion replay of this. Let's pull this up. And as I said, we'll pull up Monty Williams' comments because he's like, oh, where's the New York media now and bullshit like that. But anyways, was this a foul on Dante DiVincenzo?
Let's see. Yeah, that was a foul.
No. Hold on. Here's the important part. Does he reach for the ball first or does he get contact first with Sarr? That's the important part. If he gets the ball first, it's not a foul. It's incidental. If he gets the contact first, it's a loose ball.
Can I see it again?
You see his white sleeve?
That's fine. He has the ball. Now, play it after. Hold up. But he leans into him, and he kind of prevents him from making a play on it. You could honestly call DiVincenzo for a loose ball foul there.
I think it's personally incidental, but that's just my opinion. Let's listen to Monty Williams raging on the NBA referees because he had his fair share to stay after this.
Where's the New York media now? The absolute worst call of the season. No call. And enough's enough. We've done it the right way. We've called the league. We've sent in clips. We're sick of hearing the same stuff over and over again. We had a chance to win the game, and the guy dove into Asar's legs, and there was a no call. That's an abomination. You cannot miss that in an NBA game, period. And I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of our guys asking me, what more can we do, coach? That situation is Exhibit A to what we've been dealing with all season long, and enough's enough. You cannot dive into a guy's legs in a big-time game like that and there be a no call. It's ridiculous, and we're tired of it. We just want a fair game called, period. And I got nothing else to say. We want a fair game, and that was not fair. I'm done.
In case you wanted Monty Williams' thoughts on it, but the Knicks came away with a victory. There was one play, I think, want to pull up as well.
Honestly, in my unbiased opinion, I think it was a foul and they missed it. Now, I'll say this. That should be, in karma's sense, a makeup call for the game we got screwed out from the Houston Rockets.
My buddy Clutch said that. He actually said that. He's like, the NBA gods gifted this game to us because we got screwed over in Houston. So it's kind of a makeup game. But
it's a makeup call, but I'm not saying it makes it right. And I think Monty Williams, I actually agree with him. I mean, I don't think DiVincenzo intentionally did it because he probably was going for the ball, but he does take out Asar from under him. So I my unbiased opinion, I think it's a foul.
So for somebody who had a solid game tonight, they did this to a former Knick. Now, this guy who had a solid game tonight, obviously he had a better first half than more so a second half, but this is Bojan Bogdanović crossing up Evan Fournier.
Oh.
Let's watch that one more time.
Nice, Bogdanović.
But yeah, I'll be honest. I was originally going to explore some of the weaknesses. I shouldn't say the weaknesses. Talk about the Celtics loss. I'm not going to go into too much from the game, but I will also add that the Knicks ran out the same starting lineup as they did for the last couple of games, obviously with the injured players. Donnie DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Precious Achiuwa, and Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, John and I were debating this pre-game, or I should say pre-show, and I brought up the point that some other people brought up on Twitter. I think the starting lineup needs to be changed personally. The numbers don't reflect it, actually. They say, there's a positive 6+ net rating. But I will say this. Jalen Brunson cannot succeed with 3 non-shooters in the starting lineup and 2 non-shooting bigs who clog the paint. I have some clips from the Celtics game. Obviously, we don't have clips from the Pistons game yet. But, John, do you think they should make changes to the starting lineup? And what should Tibbs do more to kind of take the load off Brunson? Who do you think they should stagger in more? I think Bojan Bogdanović deserves more minutes, by the way.
I'm for putting more minutes to Bogdanović. The one thing I think you're forgetting a little bit. This team is a lot. Not that you forgot it. This team is a lot of injuries, and off the bench tonight, Bogdanović has been the real consistent scorer. Alec Burks, I've kind of been a little underwhelmed with him, in my opinion. You say to give him more time. We were talking about this, closed door. You say give him more time to acclimate. That's fine. That's fair. He just hasn't proven it to be another scorer. And then also off the bench, you got Jericho Sims and Miles McBride.
Right.
Neither guy is really known for their scoring. So if you do to make that switch to Bogdanović in the starting lineup, you got to realize there's no true scorer threat off the bench. But it's not that I don't I do agree with the sentiment. Hey, you can't leave Jalen Brunson out there with three guys who can't shoot the ball well. But also you got to you kind of got to mix and match with all these injuries.
It's true. You gotta be flexible. And I do get your point. We are injured to hell. We only have 4 rotation players coming off the bench.
We're missing 3 of our starters.
True. And obviously that plays a big part. Anunoby provides spacing. Julius Randle provides spacing. But again, the ability to stagger is a very good thing. Not saying you have to play Bogdanović 40 fucking minutes a game. That would be very ridiculous. And to the point that happened today, Josh Hart still could close games. He doesn't have to. To me, I think he could be in the pivotal starting. He could be in the pivotal lineups when it comes down to closing down the stretch because he did have some really good plays down the stretch of this game tonight. Obviously, he had the game-winning layup with the contact. He also had some key rebounds, which he adds. He obviously adds he doesn't have a lot of size, but he has the rebounds, he has the hustle, and he brings that's my point. He brings the energy off the bench. So you could possibly do a lineup, obviously taking the pressure off of Brunson. You could do Burks at the 2, or do something like this. Miles McBride at the 1, Burks at the 2, Hart at the 3, or switch them around. Bogdanovich at the 4, Sims at the 5. Do something like that. Again, mixing around the lineups, being versatile, again, opening up the shooting for more players around it, taking the pressure off of Brunson and doing that kind of thing. Again, I agree with your sentiment, John. I know everybody's hurt, but you kind of have to mix that in. You don't want to burn out Jalen Brunson. That's one of my worries. DiVincenzo, no concern with.
I'm in agreement, and that kind of puts it on Tibbs. He's kind of forced himself in that situation because he plays his starters way too much in blowout wins.
That's
and
true.
That has been a very fair critique of him throughout his whole career. You can point that to accounts of back when he was with the Bulls with Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
You can point that to accounts when he was with the Timberwolves with Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns. So it's not like it's a new thing with him, and it is something that's, I think, hurt him in the past because his teams do burn out early in the playoffs. But right now, he's kind of got no other options. I mean, unless you want to give Deuce McBride more minutes.
I think you should. I think, we talked about it, I think on Thursday, his scoring is a little bit better this year. Is he he's going to be the sixth man? No. But his scoring ability to be able to create off the catch, off the dribble jumpers, catch and shoot 3-pointers, he doesn't really attack the rack much, but, he's improved from the mid-range and 3-point land this year where you could say, okay, he's not my go-to scorer, but he's now a scoring option. He's not a complete offensive liability. Mm-hmm. And when I mentioned about Bogdanovich and Hart and Burks being the same lineup, we don't have a true backup point guard. Let's be honest. McBride, one of his weaknesses is facilitation. He cannot run the offense, in my opinion. It just seems everything is in shambles and scrambles when he runs the offense. So what you have with Bogdanovich, Burks, and Hart is 3 pseudo playmakers. Bogdanovich can do a little bit of playmaking. He's one of the best in the pick and roll. Burks can do a little bit of ball handling. Not a lot, but a little. Josh Hart can do a little ball handling. Not a lot, but a little. So you have those 3 guys sharing the ball a little bit, distributing the offense and sharing and facilitating. That's what can work. And you were right about the Tibbs minutes. And let's look up Bogdanovich's minutes tonight. He only played 22 minutes. I think he deserves more.
I agree. I mean, you look at some of the rotation here. Obviously, Josh Hart played 42 minutes in this game. I think that's too much for him, in my opinion. Brunson played around 40. Makes sense. Achua played 34. DiVincenzo played 32. Makes sense for them. Hartenstein played about 27. Makes sense. Jericho Sims getting 20. Makes sense. McBride only 10. Burks only 14.
And I'm just going to look at something real quick. I want to make sure I'm right on this. And if let's just say we do your suggestion that they don't start Bogdanovich, they can't, they did this in the third quarter of the Celtics game, which is, I think, one of the reasons they lost. They made Jericho Sims the first sub in that third quarter, and the Celtics won on a big run. You basically doubled down on the 3 non-shooters aspect, where you could have thrown in a Bogdanovich or Burks and helped out Brunson. Now, today, against the Pistons, obviously they won, so I'm not going to complain as much, but why is Sims being the first sub off the bench? I don't have anything against Jericho Sims, but you're doubling down on 3 non-shooters. I know you're all about defense, Tibbs, but you also have to take in fact to the spacing, because Achua is not a threat. He is maybe a potential corner threat, but he doesn't shoot outside from there or the paint. Jericho Sims is a lob threat. He can grab rebounds, fine. But you have 2 guys clogging the paint. Josh Hart, they leave him space to open to shoot threes. Now, I'm hoping, in my opinion, that Josh Hart somehow, I could be wrong, I'm somewhat hoping that Josh Hart ends a slump. The shooting slump he's been in. He shot 3 of 5 tonight from 3, which is impressive. Usually for him, he's not a great 3-point shooter. He does a little bit of everything. He is a hustle player. Let's look at his numbers against the Celtics. This is also important as well. Josh Hart for 3. He was 2 for 5. That's 40%. So if you keep building on that, I'll accept it a little more often that the Knicks are running with essentially what you hope is 2 non-shooters instead of 3. So Now, I'm going to bring up the clips from the Celtics game. This is not about the Celtics game in general. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to the lineups and the minutes and all of that. And I talk about the spacing on the floor. And yes, I will add again, Julius Randle does add spacing because what we've seen plenty of times during this when the offense is being ran, you see Jalen Brunson taking a lot of contested three-pointers. Now, he shoots them at a very high clip, just in general, the three-pointers, but the problem is they're highly contested because the defenses are helping one pass away. They're not helping off of DiVincenzo. They're usually helping off of Hart or Hartenstein or Precious Achiuwa. So we'll see some of that. I have 4 clips to go through specifically and go through the spacing. Alex, when I pull these up, I will ask that you mute the tabs. Okay, so
that's a back.
All right, so we're going to mute that. So this is a Jalen Brunson simple floater, but we're going to watch the spacing as it is. So DiVincenzo has the ball. Brunson comes across on the cross screen. Nice job by Hartenstein. Holiday goes under. Brunson one-on-one. We're going to see a little pick and roll action. Hartenstein with the screen to the right. Brunson goes to the right. And you see Hartenstein's not really of a perimeter threat. So Holiday and Porzingis are drop. You have Porzingis in drop coverage. You have Holiday contesting the jumper. So that's 2. So it's kind of a contested jumper. You obviously like to see, if you're a Celtics fan, like to see Holiday put up more of a contest, but he was late on the screen. Again, good job by Hartenstein on the screen, but you're seeing that 2 guys on 1, Hartenstein's not a perimeter threat. Takes the mid-range jumper. That's Brunson's classic, one of his more classic shots. Again, nice job on the cross screen. Hartenstein sets the screen. Holiday goes over the screen, but gets stuck. But Brunson takes the open jumper. Now, if he goes over that screen and, he doesn't get stuck, obviously that's a little more contested, and that's more of a contested jumper. Notice how the defense right here, let's pull it up, interestingly enough, is helping off of Donnie DiVincenzo 1 pass away. Derek White's right in the middle. So that's one instance of the bad spacing where you have Hartenstein back here where he can't properly space the floor. He's more of a paint guy. But Brunson is lucky that Holiday got through the screen or didn't really get through the screen. Good job by Hartenstein. Give him credit there. Brunson takes the open shot. So once again, we'll pull up another instance. This is a Brunson miss on a pull-up mid-range jumper. I think this is the worst case. So let's pull this up again. Brunson getting it out of bounds. Hartenstein screen to the left. A little simple pick and roll action. They have Porzingis in drop coverage like they did the entire night. Porzingis is essentially controlling the paint. You have Jason Tatum helping off of Precious Achiuwa. You have Jaylen Brown helping off Josh Hart. Brunson, you have Jrue Holiday stuck on the screen again. You have Porzingis playing up. Look at all the defenders. They're all helping off. Derek White is patrolling. Contested mid-range jumper. And also, you could argue that, you could possibly set a side screen where Dante or somebody could cut to the basket, but that's not in the framework of the Knicks offense, unfortunately. So, again, it's another contested jumper from someone of a higher stature. So, unfortunately, you see a lot of defenders helping off. That could potentially almost be a triple team. Once again, we'll pull up clip C now. This is a pass to Isaiah Hartenstein. Watch how crumpled the spacing becomes. All right. Brunson's going to inbound. Same lineup as usual. Brunson, Hart, Achiuwa, Hart, and DiVincenzo. Inbound to Hart, gives it back to Brunson. Pick and roll once again. Hartenstein sets the screen. Jaylen Brown is pursuing. Goes over the screen. Falls behind a little bit. You see Achiuwa running to the basket. Porzingis is going to take his man. This is the most major factor of the lack of spacing. You see Jrue Holiday is helping 1 pass away off Josh Hart. Hart, again, not a consistent perimeter threat, so Holiday is going to do that. They're doing this on purpose, I'm telling you. Hartenstein's going to go right to the basket. You see the spacing is crumpled. Jalen Brunson is essentially being double-teamed. It's a miracle he gets this pass off. Hartenstein, high floater off the glass. Watch that again. Simple inbounds play. They're going to set the pick and roll for Jalen Brunson. Hartenstein, nice screen. Brown falls behind him. But you're going to essentially see a double contest because Achiuwa is you have Porzingis playing in drop coverage while you have Achiuwa going to the basket. Holiday's helping off. Brown is helping off. Tatum is helping 1 pass away. But somehow he gets this pass off, which is unbelievable. Last and final clip. I'm going to take this down. Talking about the spacing. This is a nice fake. I'll tell you this much right now. Not great spacing, but Jalen Brunson has a very nice fake on Kristaps Porzingis. Here we go. Jericho Sims, first sub off the bench on the floor. DiVincenzo, a little pick and roll handoff action, gives to Hart. Hart gives back to Brunson. Nice screen here by Hart, taking White completely out of the play. But you're going to see White catches up, helping one pass away. You see Josh Hart is open. White is not contesting Josh Hart at all or staying by his man off ball. You see two guys taking up Jalen Brunson, but you're going to see Brunson do this now. Just an awesome fake. Watch that again. Again, defense is helping one pass away. Up fake, inside. Obviously, if you're Brunson, you take that opportunity. You take that opportunity if you do the quick fake. So that's my evidence of the issue of spacing. Just give me 1 second.
Did Luka die? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think, or it could be a cat issue. Who knows?
Damn.
But
Actually, false on both. I have a bit of a stuffy nose, but that was my issues with the spacing. That's what sometimes will continue unless Josh Hart somehow has a hot streak with a 3-pointer where they're not helping one pass away. So going to that, I talked about the numbers being positive. The numbers, this is now outside of the Detroit game. This is not including the Detroit game. This includes the Boston game and everybody else. Current starting lineup numbers. Offensive rating, 132.75. Defensive rating, 126.18. Net rating, 6.57. Not bad. But the three-point shooting is where it lacks. 34.12. 34.1%. Now, the NBA average for a three-point shooting is 36%. You're looking at 2 points below average. The opposing three-point shooting, now this is a staple of Tibbs' defense. We talk about how dated his scheme is. 48% opposing three-point percentage. 48%. That's really high. But again, that's not much of a starting lineup thing. That goes back to Tibbs' scheme and how they were basically giving up open three-pointers and Tibbs not really navigating the scheme to Boston's strengths, who have shot the three ball hella well this year. So outside of that, we talked about, the lineups and everything else. I'll bring up why I think one of those two, as in Achua or Hart, ought to be removed from the starting lineup. Hart limits spacing with the inconsistent three-point shooting. He brings energy and physicality defensively, but his stature also, this is defensive point too, his stature is too small to grab potentially bigger forwards. I mean, him on Tatum is a complete mismatch for the offense to take advantage of. Not that Hart isn't gritty, but again, Hart's like 6'4" compared to Tatum's 6'8", 6'9" stature. Pressure Achua, only a threat from the corner, also in the paint as well. Not a consistent offensive threat. Assists with the rebounding and rim protection as a bigger 4 and a small ball 5. He does have effects of effects of having both on the court with Sims or Hartenstein as a rim protector. We know Tibbs loves his rim protectors more of it as his defensive system works. Not much of a small ball guy. He'll shift that every once in a while. It cancels out the spacing Dante gives to Brunson with his driving lanes, forces Brunson to more contested three-pointers. I already mentioned that. Randall also missing impacts that. More offensive responsibility with Brunson. Talked about that. Talked about the film. Talked about the numbers. But not much to go on from there, but the Knicks do need OG and Mitchell Robinson back, Julius Randle back as well. There are reports that OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson will probably be back next week, what some people are saying. I saw that graphic on ESPN that OG Anunoby should be back in the next week or two, which really helped this team defensively. Because, you wouldn't have Josh Hart guarding Jason Tatum in the playoffs. It would be Anunoby. And Anunoby not only has the height, he has the wingspan where he can really trouble those guys. So
I tell you what, that 3-point percentage goes down. The opposing, the 40.
Definitely
was way down with him in the lineup.
But again, I agree with you there. I also have to say that we need Tibbs to be more flexible with his defensive scheme, where he's more concerned about a goddamn open layup compared to a 3-pointer. That's just, again, we talk about updated, dated schemes and all that shit. But overall, that's what I have to say about the Knicks. I'm happy that they won tonight. Obviously, they didn't really deserve to win. I don't know why they made it a game, but I do not want to see Hart starting. It won't happen in the playoffs. I don't think Tibbs is going to make that change. But even if, like, John has a point, even if you don't start Bogdanovich, make him the first sub off the bench for scoring purposes.
I'm in agreement there.
And it can't be Sims because you're, as I said, doubling down on the lack of spacing, which makes no sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. Let's go. OG is my favorite player. Can't wait till he's back. Again, we got to see another update. I don't know if he was cleared for practice yet. We have to check that. Just want to check that right now. OG Anunoby. But Yeah, optimistic injury updates. I know Randall was practicing with Johnny Bryant today, so that's at least a positive. Let's
What's
see.
up, Drew?
What's up to Drew? Hope all is well. Let's see what the injury update on Ananobi is. This is per Woj. Know this with Randall. Let's see. I'm told he's right on schedule. There not been any setbacks. They will reevaluate him at the end of next week. That's Ananobi. As for Randall, know this with Randall. Last season, we had ankle injury. There was a lot of suggestion from medical people that he wanted to have that surgery, but he put off till the offseason. He didn't do it. He played injured in the playoffs. Then he had the procedure in the offseason. You kind of start there with Randall, his inclination to play, even to play hurt and some discomfort. That is his goal right now. Try to get back and play, but put anything off till the offseason. But that right now is still a question mark. And Almighty says finals or bust for the Knicks.
I would like them to at least reach the championship game.
Conference finals.
I'll tell you this. Their ultimate ceiling is a finals appearance. What realistically will happen is a conference finals appearance. And I think they could take a team like the Celtics with the depth they have into a 6 or 7 game series. But again, they got to be healthy. And
on their game.
Almighty says, hell no, no Eastern Conference finals.
Well, that's what it's going to be.
Guys, just a reminder, next Knicks stream is Sunday night, home against Cleveland, so check out that one.
Yep.
Almighty says, I want a finals appearance too. This would be the best Knicks team I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
They haven't made the Eastern Conference Finals since 2000. B, they haven't made the finals since 1999. So you obviously like to see it. I would love for them to make a finals, but realistically, I see them as an Eastern Conference Finals team, taking a team to 6 or 7.
Final thoughts?
Just overall. I mean, we already cleared the basketball subject. Obviously, as John said, we'll be live Sunday, not only for the Yankee game, but the Knicks game at 7. ESPN, MSG, Knicks, Cavs. Obviously, are the Cavs without Donovan Mitchell or something? I feel like that's been the case.
I don't know. Let me.
I'll look it up.
I got it. Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, he had an injury. I think he had an illness.
Might have been an illness because I know somebody was complaining that Karis LeVert's been too inconsistent. But he did play He played 36 minutes last night against the Wizards.
It's an illness. It's not like he got hurt during the game. So,
and listen, this is a future. Could be a future playoff matchup. You never know. Might be a first round thing. And I know CK2K was talking about it. Like, let me ask this: another final thoughts thing, John. Do you think it's possible if we get healthy in time that we could clinch a top 3 seed? Because the East, in my opinion, is wide open right now. Outside,
I don't think we're going to do it. I don't think we're going to do it in the end.
Okay.
My honest opinion.
Neymar says almighty finals, and if we don't make it to the finals, we fire Tibbs. I mean, the expectations Eastern Conference Finals. So, it's interesting. Again,
can't lose in the first round.
No, no. We're the second round, in my opinion. So, again, everything with Tibbs and Leon Rose depends on the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Almighty says he wants the Pacers in the first round. Just to rub it in Halliburton's face, I really don't like Tyrese Halliburton. He's such a corny ass.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want the Sixers in the first round. I hate them so much. I kind of want them.
Yeah.
I kind of want to just tell them where they can go.
True. And Embiid will probably get hurt again. But who knows? He might even not be healthy. Tibbs most likely getting an extension. We don't know that. I mean, this is the second to last year on his contract. Again, for me to decide, it depends on playoffs for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't hire Doc Rivers.
I think Rivers is staying beyond this year, personally. But the Bucks are not only paying Griffin and Rivers, they're also still paying Mike Budenholzer.
Yep. 3 coaches.
Which financial flexibility went from this to this.
Good job, Brian's team. Good job.
And also, you still have Damian Lillard, who hasn't played as well this season.
Yeah, good job, Brian. Good job. John, your final.
I was going to say, imagine we get a first or second round Bucks Knicks series.
Well, that'd be interesting. John, your final thoughts?
Well, ladies and gents, what have we learned? What are we here for today? Obviously, we got spring training still here. just in the baby stages. We're going to get into more baseball. Don't you guys worry. The streams will be coming back for baseball too, so stay tuned for those Yankees and Mets streams. We got pretty much the football off season. We got about a few weeks away, so we'll be doing a lot more stuff with that as well. And we got the Knicks this Sunday. Alex, close this out as I take my damn neck pillow off because my neck is killing me.
By the way, I want to say Quentin Grimes said it was not pleasant to see the Knicks fans booing Evan Fournier.
Boo-hoo.
Sorry, 8-win team.
Never seen a coach live off one ring so long before.
He is the urinating tree said it perfectly. He is the NBA's Mike McCarthy.
No, he's right. There's a couple of mock trades in my video about the Giants trading up for a quarterback. So if you haven't already, tune into that. But more videos throughout the week. As John mentioned, we'll be doing a doubleheader next Sunday. Definitely some more Giants content. I have it planned for, let's pull up the calendar here. I have that planned for, Thursday, Friday, maybe Saturday too. So the Giants content will be sprinkled in. But appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when live stream pops for your drops. We will talk to you guys throughout the week. Peace out.